Is it unmuted? Yeah. I gotta hang up this one. Yep.
Okay, we're about to start the meeting. It is now 6:02. Today's date is August 12th, 2026. Ms. Desir, please call the roll.
Chair Guyton,
Here.
Vice Chair Spiritus,
Here?
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
Present.
Commissioner Lanier,
Here.
Commissioner Davis Paneer.
Here.
Also present on the dais, Attorney Chris Smith with Pittman Law Group, Jadelle Mercius, Executive Director, Tanya Davis, Finance Specialist, Shirley Desir, Director of Administration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Desir. We'll now have a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Miller Anderson, Commissioner Miller Anderson. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, additions, deletions, or substitutions. I do have an addition to add, and that is the consideration of legal fees for one of the commissioners. Do you have that letter? Do you have the letter?
Yes, I have it.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Zier, where are we going to put that item?
We can place that under discussion. Do we have item to approve?
Okay.
Under discussion.
Okay.
Chair?
Yes, Vice Chair Spirit.
Yes, I would like to delete 6A and then put it back on at the next meeting.
You would like to what now?
Delete 6A under discussion, and we can put it on at the next meeting for discussion.
We're ready today, but if there's a reason why,
I need to do a little bit more research.
um, this has been going on for a while now, Vice Chair.
But I
Our-
think it's important that we put it off for till the next meeting.
Vice Chair, I really don't want to put this off any longer. We can vote it up or down, get it behind us. Either way it is, it is. But this been lingering for a while, and I would just like to make a decision one way or the other, please. But we take a vote.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
let the record reflect that I'm present, Mayor Lawson, and I was paying attention and watching, but I'm assuming that Board Member Spiritus is Commissioner talking about the discussion 6A?
Yes.
Okay. How long is the budget discussion?
We have about 25 pages, but 25 pages can be condensed to basic questions that you all have. This is the first reading. We will have a second reading come out to August 26th.
Okay. And I understand the commissioner's concerns versus voting it up or down, but because we have the budget tonight and there is some more time to look at it, what happens with the current lease or terms or operations at Rafiki Tiki, being that we're currently out of lease?
No, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. We're currently out of lease terms, and this is a discussion, I guess, to finalize to the next steps. And I think Commissioner Spears has some unreadiness. Is there any rush to bring this today versus the next meeting?
We are currently within a lease.
Within a lease?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I know Commissioner Spears has some hesitation, so we may want to just hold off so that all the concerns that he can get addressed before voting it up or down, because this is just a discussion. I'm not sure what the pleasure of the staff is
Wait,
looking
wait.
for.
Okay. Are you done?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This lease was in limbo for years before we finally passed it. Years, not months, years. And after we passed it, there was some unreadiness. I'm not sure why. All I'm saying is we've been lingering with this long enough. We have a reputation of not making decisions for years. Years. They can say, Bruce, it's been out there for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Marina, 9 years, 10 years. This phase was done when I was on the council back in 2016, 10 years. I'm not sure why nothing has been done since then, but nothing has. I'm a person who likes to make a decision up or down. Either we're going to support it or we're not. But one thing for sure is that whatever we decide to do, we have a binding agreement. That I'm certain of. The other thing why I don't want to put it off is that tenant has been spending hundreds and thousands of dollars for us because he can't take any of that with him. That's ours. Any improvements been made stays with the city. Period. That's us. So I don't want to keep lingering, holding him up. He's spending money. Let's do it next month. No.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Can we
But
take?
let me say this, if we can just take a vote.
Yeah,
Y'all
that's what I
vote it
was going
down.
to say. Just take a vote to see if somebody wants to, if we want to keep it on or take it off.
Mhm. Okay,
Mr.
wait, let me see where we're on the agenda. We're on additions and deletions
Additions, right.
now. So, if someone wants to pull that off the agenda, this would be the appropriate time because we're under additions and deletions.
Okay, Chair,
Yes,
I make a motion that we remove 6A discussion and bring it back up at the next meeting.
Second.
it's been moved by Vice Chair Spiritus and seconded by, Commissioner Miller Anderson to remove this item from the agenda and bring it up when?
At the next meeting.
At the next meeting.
Mr. Chair?
Is there any more discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
I do.
Commissioner Miller Anderson and then Mayor Lawson.
Attorney, when does the current lease expire?
This lease is the current lease that we have here.
Expire.
It doesn't expire for 5 years.
So, okay. Go ahead.
It's Mayor Lawson, then Vice Chair Spiritus.
thank you. And before the board does vote, remember, this is just a discussion item to address what was already completed and executed. So that's why I said if we needed to have any additional discussion about it, we could wait till the next meeting, because to your point, Mr. Chair, I, as the same, do not want to kick the can. I don't want to delay anything, but we already have a lease. We've already executed the business of the city. There's nothing else that needs to be done with this item. This is just consideration and conversation that we're going to have, and some concerns that may have been brought by other board members. But we're okay with the discussion. I would prefer, if there's unreadiness, we don't take any action because the lease has been executed already.
Okay, just a correction. It's about more than just the discussion about the lease. The tenant has invoices on here. And he's been paying and paying and paying. And our lease says that it's an allowance and he would be reimbursed. And then when he leaves, it'll be a clawback. And if we want to get into that, we can. But right now, there's a motion on the floor whether we're going to keep it up and down. He has spent money, and tonight we were going to vote on the invoices too. And that's a problem with me.
Chair?
Vice Chair Spiritus.
Okay, so since we're speaking openly about this,
Right.
I was the one, that was the vote to get this project to the point where we were going to go with the lease. This is not what I intended, this lease and this amount of money. There was no money actually when I made this agreement that was supposed to be the lease agreement. I didn't believe that the city should be paying any money towards this project. That's why I went along with the project to assist the person that operates the restaurant there. I just think that we need a little bit more time. We didn't think that this was going to be an executed lease. It ended up being an executed lease, and I don't want to go into the terms for this, but and I'm going to discuss that with council, by the way, because I still haven't received a response to my question to council and the executive director whether this was an executed lease and a legal lease. We were told at one point that it was not by council. I have not received the response yet saying that it was a legal lease. I'm hearing that tonight. But that's even more the reason why I think that this should be postponed until the next meeting, because I still have to do a little bit more research here before we have the discussion, which will lead to a vote.
Okay, Mr. Smith, I'll get to you. Did the executive director have authority to execute the lease?
Under the resolution passed in November of 2025, the resolution said to negotiate, but it did have the words execute in the resolution that was passed in November of 2025. So under the resolution passed by this board, the executive director had authority to execute a lease.
He had the authority. Wait, I'm not done. Let me ask a question. Is the Rafiki Tiki entitled to an amount up to, not guaranteed to reach that level, but the operative words are up to? Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Under the lease, it says he can receive up to $900,000 in reimbursements. It could be any amount up to that amount. That's set a ceiling, not a floor, to the amount of reimbursement for any capital improvements.
Okay,
That's agreed to by this board.
Okay, that's an up to. Everybody is thinking that he's going to be given 900. That's it's not the case. Wait, I'm not done yet. Could you describe the clawback, um, that provision in the lease, and who does it pertain to?
The callback pertains to this board and to the CRA. Under the lease, the callback would be yours to claw back any monies dispersed to him if they,
Break down clawback. What you
Oh,
said we could be able to
if if the restaurant closes and Demetri leaves, due to the new, uh, uh, due to the renovations or the marina development, any money dispersed by this board to him to do renovations, this board will claw back that money from the developer. It's not that Dimitri will claw back money from the developer because he's receiving the money as per the lease.
So we would get everything that was invested into the building bank.
Yes,
Okay, so we won't have a loss, even if he is moved out and moved somewhere else. The new developer comes in and pays us.
it's envisioned that the board claw back the money. Yes, sir.
What does the first right of refusal mean? There's a clause in the contract that says first right of refusal.
Well, that's when the developer starts developing this area. If the developer has restaurant space and decides to do something different with this space, and he has restaurant space in there, the first restaurant that he must go to is Dimitri. He has the right to refuse it. It doesn't dictate under what terms, but he has the first right to say if he wants a new space or not, because he is a current tenant here. So he has a right to say, okay, you got this new restaurant space, I want this space. And then they have to negotiate, the terms of the agreement. But this doesn't set any terms for any future restaurant space.
Has any other cities ever provided clauses like this within their agreements or CRAs that you know of?
But because we did get that request and we did some research. And I think Pompano Beach would be the optimum one. That's because remember, this is city-owned land that the restaurant is in. So any improvements, the city would own, uh, would still own the building and own any of those improvements. In the city of Pompano Beach, I think in a restaurant, Goodell, do you want to handle that? What did the city do?
Thank
Good
you, Chris.
evening.
We have someone from, I'm sorry, JLL, Danielle Fleischer. She's here to more or less give a breakdown of the report that she prepared, or excuse me, that her group prepared for this restoration for Rafiki Tiki.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor.
Mr. Chair, point,
I-
point of order, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion on the floor, Chair.
I know we do.
And we shouldn't be talking about this.
We should be
That's
calling.
right.
call the
Wait,
vote.
slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. I understand the procedures. And the motion was whether we were going to remove this from the agenda.
Here.
So you can have a seat for now until we clarify this. Thank you, dear.
My apologies.
But there were discussions that were brought up by board members about the lease. That's how we got into this conversation here. And it wasn't until the young lady stood up and was fin to articulate about the lease that you all brought up, that you all decided now we don't want to talk about the lease. And, you know, I just like to be fair to people. We won't lose not one dime by listening to this and approving it or voting it down. And I'm not understanding why we are in the binding agreement and we don't have any defense if we had to defend this in the court of law.
Chair,
Yes.
all I wanted to say was it feels like we're already discussing it. So if we're going to discuss it, let's just keep it on the agenda.
Yeah,
and-
I mean,
and
we
keep
were
moving
already
forward,
discussing
Because
it
this is a whole
until
discussion.
they thought something was going to be said that they didn't want to hear at the time.
So can we just finish the motion and
Yeah, let's-
decide what?
Yeah,
where
let's
we-
carry the motion. The motion was,
It has to have three, right? Two
Yes.
or three?
if two vote against it, it dies. The motion was to remove this from the agenda.
Well,
There's no more discussion. I call a question. Mrs. Desir.
Mr. Chair, I have two items that we have to vote on. There's one deletion item.
No, wait. No, there is a motion on the floor to remove an item from the agenda.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on that first?
We're going to vote on that first, and
Okay.
then we're going to continue with our procedures for the meeting.
Okay. Motion to remove item 6A, discussion on Rafiki Tiki, until the next CRA meeting. Commissioner Davis Panir,
no,
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Spiritus,
Yes.
Chair Guyton.
No.
That
We
motion.
had Commissioner Lanier is on.
It's on.
can she vote? She can.
Oh, no, she can't vote if she's not sick.
Was she
She's
sick?
not
I mean, I
sick?
don't know if she's sick
Huh?
or not.
Is she sick or not?
No,
She's sick
she
or
got
not,
a
I don't know.
conference.
Whatever. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay,
You gotta ask her, I don't know.
I mean, did
Is that
you,
what
we
she
can ask
said?
her. She's listening to the conversation. I know what she is. Okay, the motion dies, it stays on the agenda. Okay, we're going to keep moving here. Are there any more deletions or deletions to the agenda? Now, I did add one, that is the discussion of legal fees for one of the commissioners. That was added. Now I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
So, second,
It's been moved by Vice Chair Spiritus and seconded by Commissioner Davis Prunier. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, I call a question. Ms. Desir.
Commissioner Davis Panir,
yes,
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
no,
Vice Chair Spiritus,
Yes.
Chair Guyton.
Yes.
That motion passes 3-1 with Commissioner Miller Anderson dissenting.
Okay, we're down to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any of my colleagues on the dais would like to pull? Is there anything on the entire agenda that anyone would like to make a disclosure about? I want to put on the record that I've had discussions with the tenant of Rafiki Tiki about his lease.
I can just,
Yes.
go ahead. I can disclose that in past months,
Yeah,
I've had conversations.
Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I met with the owner of Rafiki as well.
Okay. Are there any further disclosures? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Spiritus,
Second,
seconded by Commissioner Davis Prunier. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. DeVere.
Commissioner Davis Panir,
yes,
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
yes,
Vice Chair Spiritus,
Yes.
Chair Guyton.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Okay, down to presentations.
Presentation, Rivera Beach. Revere Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, fiscal year 2026, 2027, budget presentations. The acceptance of public comment cards are now closed. Mr. Chair, we have one comment card.
Thank you. Staff?
Thank you, Chair. At this time, we'd like to go through our budget presentation, the first reading of it. We go to that first slide, please. Want to emphasize our strategic priorities for this upcoming fiscal year for 26-27, which will be accelerating our operational excellence, strengthening community engagement, enhancing government stewardship, achieve a sustainable economy, and building great neighborhoods. Next slide, please. This is a proposed schedule of what our budget timeline will look like for the next few weeks. As you know, tonight is our first reading for our budget. Our next reading for our budget will be August 26th, and we're looking forward to starting the fiscal year October 1. Next slide. So this is our estimated revenue within our TIF payments. It's categorized by Palm Beach County and the city of Riviera Beach. As you all know, we received a double tax between Palm Beach County and the city of Riviera Beach, with the net TIF revenue of $5.4 million coming from Palm Beach County and the city of Riviera Beach, the $10 million. As you all know, and something that we give to some information for the public, if a CRA did not exist in this area, that revenue that comes in from the Palm Beach County side would not be coming in. So we'd only receive that $10 million in TIF revenue. Next slide. I'd like to direct your attention to the right side of the slide, which provides our total estimated revenue. It's a breakdown of that previous slide of the net TIF revenue and other revenue, which is basically what you see on the left-hand side of the $543,000, along with the carryover of $3.9 million. It gives us a composite total of $19.9 million. This is an increase of $1 million compared to last year's budget. Next slide. Yes, sir.
Jadell, under other revenues, which vendor contributes the most?
Under miscellaneous revenues?
Other revenues on the left side.
Okay.
Top left. Which vendor contributes the most?
So Rafiki Tiki provides us with a sales commission of about $199,000, $199,345. That's the most revenue that we receive within the sales commission.
Within the sales commission. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
Director, are we going to be getting any rent from the project that's going up right now in the corner?
The project that's going on right now in the corner, we won't be seeing the dividends from what rent creation or any type of taxes till about 2028, the start of 2028. This project on the Element 8 is slated to end by summer of 2027. It will be hopefully fully occupied by the end of 27.
All right, so what is the rent income and the taxes that we're going to get from that? Can you tell me?
It hasn't been built yet, so we wouldn't be able to assess what those taxes would look like or what the rent prices would look like either.
We don't have a guesstimate on the cost of construction and what the assessed value will be? We haven't done any of that?
The assessed value, no, we don't have the assessed value right now as we speak. We've done specific work when it came to the actual construction and what the construction cost has been, but those were that amount was some time ago. I'd like to give you a more accurate range of where we are when it comes to our construction costs, along with what revenue we'd be coming in with.
At the next meeting, I would like to have the expected tax income on this project and the expected lease monies that we're going to be getting. I assume we already know what we're getting in rent from the property above and beyond the tax revenue. Don't we have a percentage or something in the deal on that?
Well, we do have a percentage on the deal, but the assessed tax revenue has not been created as of yet. I'd like to reach out not only to Related, but also to our Palm Beach County property tax appraisers to see what that looks like.
Are we going to suggest that you call the tax assessor and get some guesstimates? They have similar buildings all over this county. They can give you that number very quickly, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Any other questions?
Continue.
Okay, next slide. Like to go over our debt service summary, and within our debt service summary, we have our Ocean Mall note along with our Truist Bank bonds from 2020A and 2020B. If there are any other questions?
Mayor Lawson.
Thank you. Director Mercius, could you explain the Ocean Mall note?
The Ocean Mall note, which we pay in January, every January of the annual year, it's for infrastructure improvements along with parking lot improvements, dry sand improvements. That's paid to the city yearly, and that will be completed in 2035.
And who do we pay the Ocean Mall note to?
We pay the Ocean Mall note back to the city on an annual basis.
So that's the expenses and the revenue the city is charging the CRA annually.
Correct.
And that is that's gonna sunset, mature in 2035, you said?
Yes, sir. 2035 would be our last payment, January 2035.
Okay, thank you.
Chair?
Yes, Vice Chair
So,
Spurgeon.
Director, can you tell me, what have we actually spent? We're giving 679. Do we have receipts or anything of what the maintenance costs were from the city? How much has the city spent on those improvements on the parking lot and everything else? Do we have any of those costs?
So it was a specific loan that we're repaying back through the city. The city created this
They
loan.
did it already.
Correct.
So this is for work that was done when they built the project, not for general maintenance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know how much money the city receives in rental income from that property?
I do not have those numbers now.
$67,000 annually.
What?
$67,000 annually.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
All right. If there are any other questions, okay, next slide. This is a synopsis of our organizational chart. Our organizational chart, self-explanatory. I'll leave it for a few seconds so you all can digest it and ask any questions as you please. Next slide.
Is that an updated chart? Were any positions removed or?
There were no positions that have been removed. What remains vacant is still the Director of Planning and Development Services, along with our Event Center Administration Assistant.
So you're looking to move all positions, all FTEs, all staff is going to be moving consistently from last year to this year?
Yes, sir.
No additional staff either?
As of right now, there are no additions.
Thank you, sir.
Like to go ahead and give an overview of our administration. So for the 2026, 2027 priorities, we're looking to focus on employee retention and succession planning, along with employee wellness and mental health, along with our ongoing professional development and competitive benefit package. Next slide. The next slide gives us a synopsis of our personnel budget and administration. If there are any questions, I'll leave this up for you all to digest.
Mr. Mercius, you and I discussed that last item, that COLA.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I indicated what I indicated last night in the city's budget hearing.
Yes,
that
sir.
the non-employees, the employees that are not part of contracts only got 4% last year when you all got 6%. So I advised you that I was going to flip that because we got the cutback so that we can be fair. Those who didn't get it last year, I'd be recommending they get it this year. And I will be supporting no more than 4% on this side this year.
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Today, inflation was reported a couple days ago at 3.8%. So I think 4% is a fair number.
Yep. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Chair?
Are there?
I'm
yes.
sorry. No.
No, did you have?
Well, I was going to say, we are prepared to provide those 4% numbers. We do have that in hand, but we will wait to the August 26 numbers to make sure that that 4% implementation is all across the board throughout the CRA budget.
Yes. Now, we just heard from 2. We need to hear from other commissioners too.
Yes, sir.
I was just voicing my opinion about that particular line item. So, but it would require 3 people to say that.
Is this the time we say it? Or
Yeah,
is
you
it
can
later?
say it now and they can
I
come
mean,
back
well,
with the fourth.
we supported you last night with what you said, and
Okay.
voted tonight the same.
So there are three that are saying that 4% across the board for the CRA.
Take a vote from everybody. Take a vote from everybody.
This is this is a regular meeting, so we can't take a vote. Last night we were in the workshop.
Yeah, but we're gonna give a direction to the director right now, so shouldn't we have a consensus?
Okay, let's put a motion on the floor.
Yeah, I make a motion that we reduce the 6% COLA to 4%.
It's been moved by Dr. Spiritus,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Davis Bernier. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, Ms. Desir, please call the question.
Commissioner Davis Panir,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Spiritus,
Yes.
Chair Guyton.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Okay, keep going, please.
Next slide. Thank you. Our workforce training program. So we are dedicating some dollars to our workforce training program. We've taken a look at the resources that is within our CRA program. And one of the things that we talked about within our staff are we're right next to the Port of Palm Beach. We're a maritime marina style city. It would be prudent for us to create some type of marina technology, marina engineering program for CRA residents that could benefit them when it comes to certification training. We've discussed with Palm Beach State College what that would look like, and we're looking to provide some type of certificate training at some point in June. And that's also with our utility district as well. We look to go ahead and work with Director Josh Neiman in creating what that utility program would look like if it's feasible for his district and his program. We have the dollars to create that. So those are two workforce training programs that we're looking forward to executing this upcoming fiscal year.
Thank you. Mr. Mercier, you said we're looking to create some kind of certificate program. Have you thought about who we will be collaborating with? We don't have any certification programs. So
Right.
have you given that any thought? That's my question. Who you would reach out to collaborate with?
Yes, sir. We've reached out to Palm Beach State College. Palm Beach State College has a marina technology and engineering program already set forth. So we'd look to partner with them in some capacity, where we would either create those programs within our Marina Event Center space or an opportunity to have those classes digitally. But we are in those discussions, those brief conversations with them. We're turning that into more lengthy conversations into what the feasibility would look like, what the payments or the costs will look like per student as well.
Okay.
Chair?
Yes. Vice Chair Spiritus and then Commissioner Miller Anderson.
The director, have you been working with the utility district on this?
This is an item that we just started discussing during our budget exercise, where we've established the monies and set them aside. Once approved with the budget, we will work with our utility district and discuss with them what that would look like. We have had brief conversations with them, but nothing where it's a formulated plan as of yet.
Because I think this would be a great program to bring into the city and to work with the utility district. It's very hard to find people that are certified to work within the district. So I think this is just a great opportunity and be a great program.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Okay, Commissioner Miller Anderson.
Yes, Mr. Mercy is, several years ago, we did have a certificate program with Palm Beach State. There was a partnership we had with them, so it was on the city side. So there shouldn't be an issue in terms of trying to reestablish that. I'm not certain of what type of certificate program that will go along with what you're trying to accomplish here, but the thought of it and the concept of it has been done before. So that shouldn't be an issue as long as they have what you need.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to take the opportunity to highlight that these set of programs won't be just limited to anyone within the CRA. These set of programs will be citywide. Individuals throughout the whole city can take advantage of this program.
Okay, thank you.
Next slide, please. Our public safety and community policing. Throughout all of our initiatives, we do have a safety component, and we're grateful for the 3 officers that we have that we set aside funds for. As you all know, every 3 months we come back to you all to provide reports and updates on what exactly we've been doing as a staff in totality with the police department. At this time, if you all have any questions or any comments, I'd love to hear them. And along with that, we have Chief Coleman to discuss what those constructive feedbacks would be. Okay, hearing none. Next
No.
slide.
Now, we had the chief last night.
You guys got a dose of the chief last night. Okay, good. Our operating budget and administration. As stated again, this is a synopsis of what our budget will look like between the 2025-26 year along with the 26-27 year. Instead of breaking it down line item by line item, if you all see any line items that you would like to call out and ask any questions, please, I'd like to hear any constructive feedback you all have.
I've got a question. A lot of our special events, activities, even though some are in the CRA district, take place in the CRA district, we never budget in the CRA budget to help contribute to the cost of some of those events that we have out here in the CRA area. And I think that we should consider that because I know we haven't gotten to it on the city side, but we've got to cut back, unfortunately. Not to zero, though. I'm not going to zero. But I understand we do have to cut back. But I think that the CRA should consider contributing something to those type of events. And that's actually a discussion for the board to have. But I do think that this is an opportunity when we cut back over there, maybe we can make up a little bit over here and still provide some entertainment to our community, which I think is part of good governance. Some people don't, but I do.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I thought a few years ago, they frowned upon the CRA putting money towards those types of things. So,
Who's they?
the board, the FRA,
Who?
the state.
Okay.
Florida statute.
We can research it.
The
huh?
state, no, is there. What, Mr. Mercy, do you wanna, you shaking your head?
I was shaking my head in agreement with you, Commissioner,
Well,
but
I know, I just want you to explain it to
right.
Mr. Guyton.
Few years ago, we began receiving CRAs in totality throughout the whole state, began receiving considerable feedback, negative feedback upon the special events and events in totality that they were doing throughout their whole budget cycle. The board a few years ago, the Riviera Beach CRA board, I'd like to say perhaps in maybe 2024, 23-24 fiscal year, they made the decision to focus less on special events and more on specific initiative items. With that being said, we do have, under our promotional events, we do have specific funds for if the agency is partnering with the city on specific events. Those monies are there for the board members to take advantage of specific events.
When you say partnering, where's the line item? How much?
Promotional events, and we're looking at it fiscal
much-
year
how much is it?
2025-26, it was 41. This upcoming year is at 49,000. When I say partner up, I'm talking about those big ticket items, those big ticket events such as Old School Reunion. What did we do earlier this year in the spring? I believe it was the Old School Reunion. It was another concert series that we did as well, I believe in April or May. Those type of partnerships with the city, we would have those funds available for them.
I think 50,000 is a little low, maybe 100.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I know that we're gonna have some questions. Um, I get calls sometimes by people who say that I pay taxes too. I hear people at the MAC saying that we don't need entertainment. They said, oh, but I want you to know that I support that. So we have two sides on the issue, and we have to know how to balance that. There'll be a few people that come to the mic the most, but it's the silent majority that do their calls behind the scenes or see you in the grocery stores, or at least me. I can talk for me. So I think that we need to be prepared to adequately. I know we can't do it like we want to do it, because if it were up to me, it'd probably be $1 million in there. And I know somebody's going to run to Facebook and say, "Oh, Bruce won $1 million," and then, but uh, we do need to provide some form of entertainment for our residents.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you for that. And that's been the topic of discussion as we create our downtown corridor and as we create more opportunities and things for our residents to do. We want to create activities, programming, and partnerships. The concern that I believe Director Spiritus and Commissioner Miller Anderson, I'm sorry, not Director Spiritus, Director Mercius and Commissioner Miller Anderson addressed is Florida statute, when whatever the dollars that come from our TIF that have to be generally allocated towards programming. It has to also allocated for TIF dollars in regards to redevelopment. It has to be for marketing, for business recruitment, and activation of the redevelopment district. So the simple request is whatever dollars, Director Mercius, that we assign or increase it to, and I would actually agree with Commissioner Chair that we do increase it to help with programming, but we just need to identify a specific section, goal, or program in the adopted CRA redevelopment that authorizes that expenditure. So if we're partnering with an event, it has to also be reflective on redevelopment, programming, or support. So if we have events, activities for Reclaim, for Renaissance, for this job fair, if we're doing that, we need to make sure that that's associated with Old School Reunion. It's associated with the other programs and incorporate it into that. So even if we increase the promotional events budget and partner with some of these organizations, it takes less strain off of the CRA to actually put these events on and utilizes the network of people that are already there to market and advertise the programs we're trying to give exposure to. So being creative, these are things that Ms. Miller Anderson talked about at the FRA conference that we learned. These are things that within Florida statute, we have to be cautious and careful, but there's ways to do it and make sure we can get it done effectively. So I would agree with Chair Guyton that we increase the budget to allow for us to do more partnerships, but making sure that we're legally defensible and we're covered from the CRA and not just say we want to stay away from it, because we hear it all the time. There is nothing to do in the city, and we've already limited our city budget and cut it when it comes to special events based upon last night's discussion. So I want to make sure that we have the funds available to actually still have events, because I'm going to hear over the next year, there's nothing for us to do. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, too. And I was being facetious about the million. I was just saying it requires more. So all of you are running to Facebook. Just chill, slow your fingers down.
Chair?
Yes.
So I just want to make it clear that the CRA, the purpose of the CRA is to eliminate blight in the areas that have been dedicated as CRA areas, and holding events, special events, in a time where we have very tight budget, and we're probably going to have a much tighter budget, as we know, more than likely this coming year. So it's very important that we take care of the infrastructure of the blighted areas, Lakeview Park, Park Manor, other areas that have some real major problems, and we're trying to help the city eliminate that blight and clean up those areas and make them a safe place to live. I have no problem increasing police in that area because that will certainly stabilize the blight in the area. Certainly the infrastructure, we have water backing up into streets. We have water lines breaking in that area and sewer lines, roads that are crumbling. I think we have to make sure that we earmark money into those areas to eliminate the blight. I have no problem, adding a few $1,000s to the events, but I think that if we want to do events, we have to go to the developers. We have to go to the people that are benefiting from projects being done here in Riviera Beach and ask them to donate the money for these events. I think that we should use our money for the actual infrastructure and projects and use donations to run events. We said we were going to do that for the fireworks this year. We were told by staff before from the city council that they were going to go look for people to donate. I didn't see one thing come in from those donations. We paid the full freight, I believe. These are things that should have been done, like the Macy's fireworks display. I mean, I don't understand why we can't go to these people that are benefiting the most from the development of the area, from the CRA or from the city, and get them to put the money. And I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do it. We just have to meet with them and set up these meetings and work it out. We have to give them plenty of time. Clearly, you can't go to them the day before and ask for a donation, but we can certainly go, work for the year right now. We're talking about a full fiscal year ahead. So I think that staff should be working to build up those event monies from these people to donate.
Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller Anderson. Thank you, Vice
Were we not looking to try to decrease some of the figures that we have up there for this year? I think with the situation that we're dealing with on the city side, I mean, although we're two different agencies, we're still the same. And if the city's contributing money to the CRA, money that we're already having to cut back on our side, I would like to see the proposed figures for 2026, 2027 decrease by a certain percentage, not increase. It would only be fair. I mean, the city shouldn't be the only side having to decrease their figures. It's almost like we're over here just operating as normal, as if, we know there's not an issue that's going to be happening on the city side. So did you all consider cutting back a certain percentage for everything this year at all?
Commissioner, we did consider cutting back on a number of items. The increase that you see in our professional contract services and our legal ads, certain increases in utilities, things of that nature, that's to brace ourselves for the upcoming with our utility payments. The contract services, that's to prepare us for our janitorial and security contracts when we move into Found Care. Along with our website that's under current solicitation and looking to go ahead and move forward, that contract will be coming up. Property management, that's another $60,000. That will be an increase in that professional and contract services. So there's items that we would need to move along with, but we have taken a considerable decrease in certain items. But we will continue to review the budget and prepare for our second reading to take a look at what we can cut off as well.
Yeah, I would like to see, I mean, I certainly understand professional contract services, the utilities and appraisals, that and liability and property insurance. But for me, promotional events, I even mentioned travel on the city side and promotional on the city side. And we did, I think it is suggested that we decrease it on the city side. So I think it would only be right for the CRE side to be the same. What's going on with Found Care, the downstairs portion of the CRE? Is there an update on that?
Yes, absolutely. There is an update on it. We'll be moving into that Found Care space. I want to give us as much space as possible, but I'd say by the end of September, we'll be moving into that space by the end of next month. Okay. That space currently right now, we're going through with the IT infrastructure and implementing the infrastructure for IT. We put in the safety cameras through our police department. Our office equipment and office supplies are, if not already in the space, they're preparing to be in the space. So we'll be fully occupied into that space on the office side by the end of September.
Okay, good. But yes, I do think we need to consider decreasing some of those items that are up there.
Commissioner,
Yes.
Will you stay?
I didn't hear you. You're going in and out.
Promotional, you stated that the promotional events along with travel expenses is something that you like us to cut down on, correct?
Yes. promotional events, travel expense. I'm in favor of staff training. I think that's important. But maybe you don't need to increase it to 121. Maybe it could just stay at 108. Um, I'm not sure about the marketing. How much marketing? $85,000? What are we marketing other than the program?
The marketing that we're looking to go ahead and move forward on is the initiatives and programs, the different initiatives and programs throughout the CRA. Reclaim, Renaissance, commercial grant programs, our signage grant programs. Pretty soon, I'm going to go to a slide where we have our commercial grant or along with all of our grant breakdowns. And I know for sure we're going to hear about what the marketing efforts will be or what they look like. So that's bracing ourselves for the impact that we're looking to bring for our commercial grants along with the other grant programs.
Okay. Okay. So those are my thoughts for right now, but I'll listen to the rest of it and see where we land.
Now,
But, Mr. Mercier, um, and I'm glad you said that you recommended a decrease over on the city side on travel and this. I did not know that. I'm gonna go back and revisit it because I do not support that.
And that's fine.
And Mr. Mercier says you get our opinions. Just realize we have to vote on this before you start going to change anything.
We know that.
Yeah. Okay. And let me say this. We are in the need of funds. We have consultants that have told us that we need to leave Riviera Beach and go in lobby in um, DC and Tallahassee and places that have the money and they're doing it. People don't understand how important it is when they see the elected officials and not a representative in their office. You have to establish relationships with these people in order for us to bring funds home. This is not a new theory or approach to obtaining funds. Our lobbyists tell us that the greatest impact that helps him is when we show up and representing our residents. So we need funds. We need to travel. We're in a position where um, that is a good narrative to say we just gonna cut back on everything, but then we'll be cutting our nose to spite our face because if we can't go and do what we need to do to try to bring the bacon back home because we have one or two people complaining, that is not good for the community. So I won't be supporting that. My goal and vision is much larger and long term. I just know that it does us no good sitting at home begging. We need to be somewhere in those decision makers' face. Mr. Mercy is
Mr.
next.
Chair, just
Mayor Lawson.
just to piggyback on that, I understand that, and I agree. I actually just came back from a neighbor works conference where they talked about affordable housing, workforce housing, lenders, vendors, and people now that have taken notice of Riviera Beach, and we're appreciative that I was there to speak on behalf of the element 7 and 8 that received tax credits from the state using Live Local, losing New Markets tax credits, and to address some of the things that we've identified. They also have interest now in coming back to the state or the city to actually invest into the city with development and bring more housing options for us. So I agree with you that I don't support the travel being reduced. We can find other budget because that is important for us to generate and bring revenue back based upon what our lobbyists have said and specific travel that we've personally done as well.
Chair?
Yes, Vice Chair Spiritus.
Yeah, I agree. The trip that I took to Washington twice with the former mayor to meet with our congressional staff and EPA certainly paid off for us and is going to pay off in the future for us. A substantial amount of money. So I have no problem. I think we have to have this money. And as you said, the personal relationships are very, very important when you go to Washington and Tallahassee and even the county. Very, very important that they see our faces and talk to us and, hear it right from our own mouth. And that's very, very important. Those relationships are critical. I'm just not so sure that we should be going to conferences and traveling all over the place. I don't know what that does for the city. Uh, right now, I mean, I understand the importance of some of these conferences and the programs that are held at these conferences, but we're sort of in an austerity budget right now with what's coming down the pike. So I just think that we should be cognizant when we do spend this money that we spend it for lobbying purposes and not for other purposes. But I think that we definitely need the money for travel.
Chair.
Okay. Um, Commissioner Miller Anderson.
So it sounds as if I said, let's drop it down to 0. I didn't say get rid of it, period. I said to decrease some, right? Especially when we keep saying we need to tighten our belts and all of this stuff. But I see that struck a nerve on that travel there. So, I mean, I am one to travel as well and going to DC and Tallahassee. So I certainly understand the importance of it. I'm simply saying maybe we need to cut back some. And I don't think we're spending 100% of our travel all the time, right? So, just to show some sort of good faith, just be able to decrease it some to show that we understand that we have to tighten our belt a little bit. Um, but, it's certainly up to the council, but that's what I feel needs to happen because that we need to show that we understand that we're in tough times right now. And some things we just need to shorten up on. But of course, I mean, I didn't take the utility district stipend either, so you know how I feel about that. But so it takes 3. So however it goes, fine with me. But I think that's important that we do, try to tighten up in different areas. Thank
Okay.
you.
Chair.
Vice Chair
Yeah,
Spiritus.
so I understand what my colleague, Commissioner Miller Anderson, is saying, but when we spend this money on travel, $10,000 per council member, the cost of flying to Washington, D.C., or to Tallahassee, and staying in hotels today, it's not a lot of trips. And you're going to bring home a lot of money. I mean, the amount of money that we bring home more than covers the $10,000. We're talking about millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that we're going to be able to bring home to the city. So I think that that's just a really good investment. If we want to, I believe we should cut in other areas, but this is just one area where I think it's very important that, as the chair said before, to build up those relationships and be able to be in a position to bring home the money because you have to be in it to win it. And I think that it's very, very important. And I understand that we have to cut money from this budget, and I'm all for that. I just think in this particular area, like I said, I'm not for going to conferences and things like that, but I am for going to Tallahassee, Washington. I even went to Tampa one time to meet with EPA because they called me up after we were in Washington, and they said, "Are you going to be at this conference in Tampa?" I had no idea that I was going to be going to this conference in Tampa. I said, "If you want to meet with us to discuss the water plant, I will certainly show up in Tampa." So I got in my car and I went to Tampa and stayed in the hotel overnight to meet with EPA, and I drove home the next day. I didn't stay for the conference. I just went there to try and bring home the bacon. So I think these relationships are important. I think we have to be there. And like I said, I agree that the budget should be cut down a little. We have to show some restraint right now for what's coming down the road and make sure we put this money in the area where it's going to do the most good for the future.
Thank you, Vice Chair Spiritus. Mayor Lawson, now let me just say that the state requires us to have a balanced budget. So we're going to have a balanced budget, and we have to move things around. If we increase one spot, we're going to have to decrease somewhere else. We would have a balanced budget, so because it's required by law. Mayor Lawson.
And to piggyback on that, one of the roles that I think we as the electeds have been playing as well is economic development. We've been attracting and bringing business from across this country to the city of Riviera Beach and putting eyes on us, traveling to Denver, Colorado, traveling to DC, traveling all over this country to showcase the city is also bringing back the ROI, showing what we've actually done for this community, giving a report. And our travel is very important. We have to make sure that we can actually showcase that. We can showcase what we've done and bring it back. And we did that with the All American City. We've done that with the commitments that we've made. So I think travel is very important for us as electeds. And I do understand Ms. Williamson just wants to cut it a little bit, but we need to also make sure that we can showcase it with a report and details, which I think we've done almost every time. So until we get an economic development coordinator on the city side and also director, I've spoke to you about that on the CRA side, we have to make sure that we generate more revenue for the city. We're not generating revenue, and all we're doing is addressing certain issues, needs, slum, and blight. But we have the ability to showcase a community that has undeveloped land that can be developed in a safe, affordable way for our residents to sustain, develop without displacing them. And that's part of what we're trying to do as elected. So our travel budget at $50,000, $60,000, I think is de minimis compared to what we're trying to bring to the CRA and address the infrastructure of the roads and the impact that we're doing now.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Spiritus, I'm not Mr. Spiritus. Mr. Mercy, yes,
Yes, sir.
continue, please.
So we'll go to the next slide, but we will look to incorporate or be mindful of some of the items that you all would look to change. But just to be clear, before we move forward, the promotional, we haven't went through a vote for any of the promotional travel expenses, so we'll move on. Next slide, please. Our event center. Our main focus for our event center is Marina Mixer networking events, monthly art showcases, along with behind the bookings. This is a concerted effort. Our staff has noticed when you go into the marina, we acknowledge that the marina is a space that is overwhelmingly used throughout the whole city and beyond. So it is a space that can be used for a multitude of events, weddings, baby showers, get-togethers, birthday parties, so on and so forth. And we want to put the best foot forward with that. If you go to the next slide, we're looking to incorporate specific Marina Mixer networking events. With these Marina Mixer networking events, it gives event professionals an opportunity to take a look at our landscape with our Marina Event Center and taking a look at what prospective clients can come to expect for events. Our monthly art showcasings that we already do throughout this year, we've seen a great difference in our hallway. The activation in that space, individuals taking pictures near those art pieces as well. Something that's fairly new for us within the Riviera Beach CRA is involving behind the booking showcasing, which basically essentially allows an event space planner to incorporate or be mindful of the Marina Event Center space and helping them and assisting them along with their special event permit from the time of a concept to an actual permit. We believe that this will be a very, very good, robust opportunity for our special event planners, where we're looking to attract individuals or parties and events when it comes to baby showers, things of that nature. So we want to market the Marina Event Center in its whole totality. Next slide, our event center operating budget. Like to go ahead and give you all an opportunity to digest these numbers. If you all have any questions.
Mr. Mercier,
Yes, ma'am.
what was on the rentals and leases? Went from 10,000 to 6,500. What caused that?
That was because of a decrease. That was because of a decrease due to a new printer install.
What?
A printer install. We had a new printer install in the event center space. So that decrease, the install was that $10,000 that we went ahead and used, and now we're incorporating 6,500 for miscellaneous and other items within our rental and lease line item.
Chair?
Vice Chair Spiritus and Mayor Lawson.
Right, so Director, can you tell us the capital machinery went from 220,000 down to zero? Can you explain that, please?
Our capital machinery, we had a neighborhood refresh initiative. And within that neighborhood refresh initiative, the $220,000 were used within the fiscal year of this past year. And we're not looking to replenish that, so we're leaving that at 0.
Okay, thank you.
But what,
So-
Chair, what was it?
Wait, oh, it's the question on,
Yeah.
It was a beautification
Vice Chair Spirit.
initiative. Oh, I'm thinking about, my apologies. It was for the carpet restoration along with the chairs and the other.
Okay.
My apologies, I'm thinking about another line item for another.
Okay.
So yes, it's for the Marina Event Center space, the carpet, the chairs, all the other miscellaneous things that we've done to beautify internally this Marina Event Center space. Thank you, Shirley.
Mayor Lawson.
That was my question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Mercius,
Yes.
keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. Next slide. Marina Village. Our Marina Village, the overview for our Marina Village, we are focusing on our economic development and tourism, clean, safe, and wellness, maintain public spaces, operational excellence, and infrastructure and placemaking, along with long-term Marina District investment. Next slide. So again, our operating budget for our Marina Village is as such. If you all have any questions per line item, we can address them.
Mr. Mercius, what line item do you use to help the small businesses in the area?
That is our small support services. That will be somewhere down along the line. We'll get to that, sir.
Oh, we haven't gotten to that.
No,
Okay.
we have not as of yet.
Chair?
Oh, that's the Marina Village.
Yes, that's for the Marina Village.
Vice Chair Spirit.
Chair, Director, can you tell us on your capital infrastructure, what your plan is on that?
For our capital infrastructure line items, we plan to address our sand restoration and along with our wayfinding signage.
And the signage is going to go where?
The signage will be distributed throughout the CRA district, assisting individuals throughout that are visiting our CRA along with our city, letting them know where pertinent specific spaces are, such as City Hall, such as the library, such as Singer Island, such as our Marina Event Center space. They can be changed, they can be manipulated as we go and we develop those spaces. We continue to develop spaces. We can focus on what directional signage we use throughout that time.
Right, I think this is a good project.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
Next slide.
Okay, can you go back for a minute?
Go back, please. Thank you.
So the repairs, maintenance, operating supplies, what is that for the Marina Village?
So for the repair, maintenance, office, and operating supplies, we're taking a look at fencing, public restrooms, and also our kiosk restorations. Last year, throughout the fiscal year, we've had suggestions or constructive feedback from our insurance to this, where the risk management throughout on our city side, where we've taken a look at our kiosk placements along with our facilities when it comes to public restrooms and our fencing. So they've seen some items that need to be changed out or some items that need to be modified. So we're addressing those items this year.
Okay, and you said the restrooms, didn't we just have a refresh on those restrooms?
We had a restoration of the public restrooms on the outside. We're looking to go ahead and restore the public restrooms throughout the CRA as well.
Oh, where do we have those at?
Well, the outside restrooms, we're looking to continue our restorations with that, along with the other spaces as well, excuse me.
But you said the public restroom, so the restroom back here by the splash pad?
Correct.
This one right here, out here.
Right. The one that's outside directly behind the event center space, that's not a restroom we've already addressed, and we plan to continue to address some other issues within that space, but we're also looking to go ahead and address the splash pad restrooms as well.
But that's what I'm saying. Didn't you just upgrade? Well, you remember last year when I said that there was something wrong with it out there,
Right.
and you redid both of them.
We only addressed the restaurants on the outside of the event center space, not the splash pad restaurant, I don't believe.
The restroom, yeah, you did, because they had a hole in the between, and you could see the two, you could watch each other while you're in the different stalls.
The restrooms, we have to do the floor repairs along with the toilet, the plumbing for the toilet, along with bringing in new toilets for both restrooms.
Okay, so that increases it by $90,000.
Correct.
And just
85,
just
yeah.
for the one.
For both. We're looking at both.
Okay.
Along with fencing, along with our kiosk modifications, and the public restrooms as well.
But I thought you said that was for the capital infrastructure. Isn't that what Dr. Spears asked about? The
No.
infrastructure.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the repairs, maintenance, office, operating supplies, and miscellaneous.
That's for fencing, public restrooms, and our kiosk.
Okay, and then the capital infrastructure is for what?
The capital infrastructure for sand restoration and wayfinding.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Next slide. So our clean and safe, our budget overview for our clean and safe, along with its priorities, we're looking at the cleaning and beautification, as always, within our CRA space, safety and hospitality, business and community support, quality of life, asset preservation. Next slide. As you all see, the line items are as such. I'll let you all digest and ask any questions.
Can you tell us what you have, Director, in the utility service line?
Are you talking about the underground utility?
Well, you have utility service, 8,500.
The utility service line is essentially, we're pretty much preparing ourselves for the miscellaneous cost for utility services throughout the whole CRA. That's for our clean and safe building, along with our sprinkler systems.
Okay, well, that's what I want to know. Is this the electric bill, water bill?
Yes.
Okay, so did you put in there increases for the water bill?
We did put in
Water
increases for the water bill, but then we did that as a whole in the previous slides.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Is it possible for us to get like a breakdown of what's included in these line items here?
Absolutely, we will do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, before the next meeting.
So our operating budget in our event center section on page 15, we have the water and solid waste assessments. We've increased that 25,000 to buffer ourselves for the upcoming utility fees.
Commissioner, you finished?
Yes.
Okay, want to move on, please?
Okay, next slide. Neighborhood services. So our neighborhood services budget overview consists of expanding home ownership, preserving neighborhoods, growing small business, build community, and creating economic opportunities. Next slide. So this is a new initiative that we're looking to push out. We're calling it Operation Grow. Operation Grow will consist of our 2 garden spaces within the Riviera Beach Heights community and the Singer Island community. Operation Grow, the GROW stands for Growing Resources, Opportunities, and Wellness. Now, we talked about the Marina Event Center space and how we use the Marina Event Center space for specific events and activations. We're looking to do the same thing with our garden, where we're looking to activate the garden space for individuals looking to enjoy outdoor amenities, such as book clubs, yoga, items for our senior citizen community, items for our young community, items for anyone who lives in Riviera Beach or outside of Riviera Beach that are looking to create events, activations, things of the sort. So we're putting some money behind that. We're looking to restore some of those structures within the Riviera Beach Heights garden, and also the upkeep for our Singer Island community garden as well, creating shade and places for seating, and also just different activations overall. We're looking to do this program enhancements. We already have a plan for that and looking to kick those plans off October 1 for our upcoming fiscal year.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mayor?
thank you. I love this program. I love activating the space because this is what we talked about with opportunities, things for the community to do. Make sure we're doing partnerships with local organizations. Some of these vendors that are hosting these events can do it in conjunction with the CRA at these spaces to activate them. I know you had the movie night here with the Silent Night headphones. I know that you had the thing at the park with the jazz. I know you've done these different events, partnering with them at these spaces and having them come in. That will also mobilize the space, activate more opportunities, and keep the cost down for us because then that cost can be split between the vendor and the CRA. We can activate it and still beautify the space. So I love this idea. Thank you.
Right, good point, Mayor. You finished? Director?
Okay, so here's our operating budget for our neighborhood services program. As you all see, our community gardening, our neighborhood outreach, smart home program, community economic development, and our operating budget for CDC goes into this bucket. We also have our housing initiatives for Villa La'ans, Riviera Beach Renaissance program, first time home buyers program, and our neighborhood reclaim program within this line item, within this budgetary.
All right, Chair?
Uh, Yes, Vice Chair Spiritus, then Commissioner Davis Bernier.
Director, can you tell me what Villa Lawn's administration is? I mean, this is a CDC project, correct?
This is a CDC project, correct?
Right, so why do we have $150,000 in there for administration?
That administration line item is for project management for the construction of the Villa La'ans. It was there last year. I'd like to keep it in there this year for the CDC and for the Villa La'ans, but if it's for the will of the board.
I personally don't see any reason why we would have $150,000 tied up in a private-public partnership project that we're really not a part of. We gave some funding in there, but the CDC is running this project. I don't understand why we don't have private people giving the money for that portion of the project. I mean, if it was for your own personal, for the CRA's administration portion of that project, I would understand. But is it going to the CDC or is it staying with the CRA for us to do work on that project? I need a better explanation of where the money is actually going.
This goes to the CDC for the project management of Villa La'ans. So their consultants, their specific project management scope of vendors, those items.
I just don't understand that project. You know, we spent more than $250,000 per unit to subsidize that project. These people should be getting these units for almost free. I don't understand why we're putting so much money into 24 townhouse units right now. And I understand there's a future to this project as well, but we're not there yet. We're still dealing with 24 townhouse units, and I don't understand why we're spending so much money on a project like this, which is just a lot of money per square foot for the development. I just need a better explanation, and I don't understand why we're tying up that $150,000. We could put that into infrastructure somewhere, fixing somebody's road. We could be doing something with that money, and actually, rather than just letting it sit there, we could actually spend that money. And then if we need money for administration later on or somewhere, they want to come to us and make a presentation. I'd be more than happy to listen to it, maybe, revise the budget later on in the year. Maybe our income will change at that time in the year. But I just don't see tying up $150,000. And since we're on the CDC, can you tell me what the $260,000 is to the CDC? And by the way, I support the CDC. I was a former member of the CDC board. I like the projects they're doing. I'm just want an explanation as to how we're spending the money as a CRA right now for the CDC. So if you can tell me, specifically what that $260,000 is, I would appreciate it.
The $260,000 is for the CDC's operating budget.
So why are we paying for the operating budget of a not-for-profit organization? It's a 501c3, so why are we paying for their operating budget?
We've paid for their operating budget for the last number of years.
Just because you did something wrong in the past doesn't mean you keep doing it.
Mr. Mercier, can you have a representative from the CDC at our next meeting.
Will do.
To answer these questions. I was on the first board that was created for the CDC. As a matter of fact, I was the vice chair, and it was Tony Brown that decided that there should be a collaboration with the CDC and the CRA. And it's been that way for a long time, but these are legitimate questions and they need to be answered. I would like to at least give them an opportunity to come in and try to explain to us what the funds are being used for.
Right, Chair?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that the CDC was formed because of the HUD Home program. The CRA was not eligible to apply for HUD Home money, so they had to form a not-for-profit, a 501c3, in order to apply for HUD Home funds. We're way past that now. The CDC has grown into a much larger, broader organization, and my hat is off to them. I think they're doing a great job. I just don't understand why they're not doing private-public partnerships and getting all these funds from other sources rather than from the CRA at this point, because they've been around a long time right now. I'd be more than happy to help them do it.
They're doing a great job. But yes, as indicated, let's have them come in and answer your questions. Okay, Mr. Mercius.
Okay, looking for other constructive feedback. If there's any, we can move on to that next slide.
Mr. Chair?
Mayor Lawson.
Thank you. And
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. It was somebody before you.
Yes.
It was Commissioner Davis Bernier.
So I love all the programs, especially this neighborhood services, all of the outreach and community support. But where in your budget will you be working on the marketing? Remember, I always say that a lot of these programs we're having is not reaching the maximum number of residents, like the outreach in the churches and in the schools, or some more community engagement so that they are aware of all of these programs. And I'm not sure if that's in your marketing, your promotions, or what have you, but just going back, these are great programs that definitely, I'm sure that most of us will support. But again, we need to make sure that it's getting to the residents, the information.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have set aside in our admin budget some money for marketing dollars. On page 9, we have set aside some dollars for our marketing. That's under so it's a part of the Marina Event Center administration. That cost, and along with our small business support, well, we'll get to that slide as well.
Okay.
We'll get to that slide, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay. Next slide.
Chair?
Vice Chair Spritis.
Right, but before you leave this page, I do know, and that's why I'm looking to see where we could take some funds and get them into projects that are going to come right out of the ground right now. We do know that actually the CDC and the Housing Authority have infill lots. They have approximately 15 infill lots. They're looking for subsidies. Both of them have been unable to come out of the ground at this point, even with the public partnership, private partnership. They need some more assistance. And these are infill houses that our community needs desperately that can come out of the ground right away. So that's why I'm questioning some of these programs. Like if you told me the CDC was putting $260,000 into infill development, I'd say that's a great project, something that we should do, because you can provide housing, needed housing for people here in the city that can't afford it. And same thing with the Housing Authority with their lots. So that's where I'm asking you to look for money to get some projects out of the ground that have been sitting there for a long time.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that constructive feedback. Yes, sir.
Oh, Mayor Lawson.
thank you. And to that point, I believe that is actually where the funds are going, but our chair did say if we could have a representative from CDC.
Yes.
So that they could identify the 260, because I think it does go to assistance, down payment assistance, programming to assist with the CDC housing. Just want to make sure that's where our money, because we did create the CDC, as Chairman said, back in 2012, but we have to have some more oversight and support as to why we're spending money with them. The housing initiatives, I think we need to increase those numbers, Board. Realistically, looking at the numbers, the cost for down payment assistance, I think we're doing $50,000 for down payment assistance. We need to really assist and increase some of that programs for first-time home buyers and the beautification. For beautification around the city, I know we have to really make sure that our sidewalks and some of our roads, Avenue E. So I'm hoping that capital projects are somewhere in this presentation as well. We'll get to that. But since we're on this item, before we get to capital projects, I do think that we need to put some more money into the reclaim. Last year, we did a match with the city and the CRA for the first-time home buyers, for home ownership, for renovation of senior projects, but it never got off the ground. And I believe CRA was actually supposed to oversee that money that's on the city side. And I still don't know where those dollars are going. We're not going to have a quorum, Chair. Oh, you're not leaving. Okay. So that's where I want to make sure that we could try to address that. We're only touching a small number of homes, and I think we ran out first or second quarter of last year of our Reclaim and Renaissance money. So having enough funds, if we can see and get a report on how many applications were submitted for Reclaim, how many are currently pending, and then also how many we actually dispersed for Renaissance and Reclaim last year, so we could see if we need to increase or decrease that number to make a conscious decision. Unless
So
you have those numbers down.
I have those numbers now.
Okay.
You would like to go ahead and
Please.
digest them, so
And I think it'll give the board clear understanding as to if we need to increase reclaim, or if we need to decrease it, or keep it the same.
So the question is to the board is whether or not we should increase or decrease Reclaim and Renaissance to what it's being proposed to right now at $800,000.
I would recommend increasing it, but I would like some more feedback as to how many applications we have pending, how many were submitted and filled, and did we use the entire budget last year?
Sure. So as of right now, our total applications that we received for Renaissance under the Renaissance program has been 21 applications. 5 have been approved, 13 have been denied or withdrawn, and 3 have been under review. For our Reclaim program, and that makes up, we've spent about $650,000. That was last year for our Renaissance program. For our Reclaim program, the total applications that were received were 31. Our approved were 3. Our denied or withdrawn were 17, and under review 11. We spent $500,000 within our Reclaim program last year.
And that was the total budget. What was budgeted last year?
I want to say for our Renaissance, we budgeted for our first-time home buyers program, I believe it was about 1.1 million. And for our Reclaim program, we budgeted for a little bit over, I believe it was about a good 700,000.
Okay. And those pending applications and the ones that were denied as well.
So my apologies. Our Reclaim was about 500,000. Renaissance was close to about 1.2 approximately.
Okay. Reclaim is actually what we won a national award for, and we came out All-American City because that was one of the top 3 programs we presented. So that program I know was very successful. So I know we used up the entire budget last year. So that's why I think you increased it. And the seniors and a lot of our residents, they need this program. So I want us to possibly, as a board, identify if we can increase those dollars, having that to provide support. And then, board, when we circle back on the city side, we need to see if we can stretch this and really activate it on the city side as well. They have an excellent product, but there's so many homes across the entire city that are not benefiting from it.
Chair?
Vice Chair Spiritus.
Yeah, I agree with the mayor. The Reclaim program is one of the best programs we have in the city. I receive, I must get an email a day from a resident upset that they're not in the CRA district. They don't qualify.
I get that.
That's why I think the mayor is correct. The city has to look into doing a similar program. Maybe we could do it with the CRA. There's such a need for it in this city, and that's how you get rid of blighted areas and derelict homes. These people need the help there. They've been in these homes, maybe many of them for 50, 60 years, and they can't afford to maintain them anymore. But they've been good residents and good neighbors for all this time. We owe this to the community, and I think it's very important.
And Community Partners is actually doing an heirs program, so helping those seniors with some of the renovations of their homes, crossing this program over into the city side, and our staff already manages it. We already have the ability to handle it, and this was the same discussion last year. It was just never executed. But that was on the city side. The CRA did a phenomenal job with it, and that's why we won the award. So to that point, board, I want us to make sure that we can maximize on this, continue to provide programming for these two programs to create home ownership, address slum and blight, and then carry it over to the city side so that we can make sure we're doing the same thing across all of our 8 square miles.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, next slide. Our grants and special projects. Now, as you all know, we have a plethora of grants to offer for our CRA residents. We're looking to catalyze redevelopment, strengthen commercial corridors, support small businesses, plan for the future, and leverage strategic investments. Can we go to the next slide? So our commercial grants, as you can see, board, we've expended all of our commercial grant dollars from last year and the carryover from the numerous years. I want to thank staff for that. We've done a phenomenal job with executing on that budget for our commercial grants. Our signage grant program as well, we're looking to go ahead and continue strong with that. Lakeview Park figures, we've set aside those dollars for on the city side to create a master plan or a plan to address some of the Lakeview Park concerns within that residential area. Park Manor, along with the infrastructure issues with Lakeview Park, we're looking to address the same and assist the city with Park Manor as well. Our CRA plans and studies, that provides us the opportunity to take a look at specific spaces and design or the infrastructure within those. And then our small business support services. Now, this is a question that some of you had in regards to what are we doing to market some of our programs? What are we doing to assist with the small businesses in our area? So as you can see, last year, around this time, we had a carryover of 300,000. This year, we're bringing 159,000 and using that carryover of 459,000 for the marketing efforts for our small business community as well. So we're looking for all of these grant programs, commissioners, mayor, we're looking to go ahead and advertise and market all of these grant programs in different ways, whether it's putting QR codes to our flyers to directly move the applicant to view the actual flyer and get to a landing page on our website, or whether or not we want to incorporate specific commercials and working with Walter and Communication Services and making sure that we have the proper support where we're advertising what those grant programs can do. But the main emphasis is to make sure that within these grant programs, it's on a first come, first served basis, and we're looking to spend those dollars as much as possible.
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
How did you come up with the 200,000 for Lakeview and 100,000 for Park Manor? And what do those things include specifically?
For Lakeview Park, that has been a study that the city has been doing or looking to execute on for some years now. So I'd say this is about the second year that I know of the program for Lakeview Park, where they're addressing seawall concerns, infrastructure improvements within the road, along with items where it's the sidewalk restoration, things of that nature. Now, the Park Manor, the 100,000 there, we can absolutely increase that specifically to address the items within Park Manor, but I would like to go ahead and pair Park Manor with specific dollars for our infrastructure projects for Avenue E. So that's what we're looking to go ahead and combine the Park Manor fund with that $100,000.
And so you all were talking about teaming up with the utility district as well, right?
Yes, ma'am. Because the utility district, they're doing work on 11th Street near our Villa La'Anse site. We're looking to continue and pigtail off of those infrastructure projects that they're doing and possibly look for dollars for the Avenue E infrastructure improvements. That conversation should be happening at our next August 26th meeting where we look for finance options.
Okay, and so I would like to see Park Manor's amount increase because we know that Lakeview Park has definitely needed some improvements over there, but we also know Park Manor, where E Avenue is, has been neglected for a very, very long time. Even in terms of the city side, I know we're doing a lot of repaving of roads.
Yes.
And Park Manor is not a part of it for the most part, because of the situation they say about the utility district, the pipes and things underneath. So however we can contribute to make some improvements as much as we can, I think we need to do that because they have not been able to benefit from any of those other street improvements in the city as the other parts of the city have.
Chair?
Yes, Vice Chair Spiritus.
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Miller Anderson. Park Manor, I would like to see that go up to 200,000 as well in this budget if we can find the money from somewhere else. As I said, I think it's very important that we put the money into infrastructure and other physical projects right now while we can, because that will create a larger tax base for us in the long run and a safer neighborhood.
Are there any further comments on this item?
Mr. Chair.
Wait, we can get some direction on whether we're going to increase it or not, so they can come back with the increase if necessary. I know we have two here. I'm sorry. Commissioner Miller Anderson. You didn't need to cut your eyes there. So, the 200, if it were to be raised to 200, would that be sufficient for now? Okay, and you won't cut your eyes there. Mayor Lawson.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Spirit, Director Mercius, what are the grants and special projects that we're allocating these funds? Is it just a placeholder to put into the community? When you say that it's special projects and grants, what exactly was the plan for this money?
Which one on
Park
grants?
Park Manor and Lakeview Park, the ones that we're talking about.
Yeah, so Lakeview Park, that's totally reserved for a specific study that the city was looking to do, an urban design study where we're taking a look at the infrastructure with the seawalls, along with adding slowdown mechanisms, um, taking a look at their sidewalks as well that need restoration. So that's a plan that was set aside for that. And for Park Manor, that was somewhat of the same. I was telling Commissioner that for the Park Manor dollars, we're looking to combine those dollars with the specific work that's being done within our utilities district and also addressing the Avenue E concerns as well as we move forward within our fiscal year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I know there was two. I do support increasing the Park Manor.
Lakeview Park.
Is it
Park Manor.
Is it Park Manor? It's Park Manor that needs to increase. So there are at least three of us.
So we're looking for an increase in Park Manor.
And four.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Davis Premier also agreed to it. So when that comes back, have that to be two. Okay, you can keep moving.
Next slide. Here's a breakdown of our total cost for our capital projects. We've provided you all with a breakdown of what the 2026, 2027, 28, and 29 for our capital projects, along with 30 for our capital projects will look like, to showcase at what steps we've been taking for all of our capital projects. Villa La'An's Event Center Utility Burial, infill housing, along with our property acquisitions and event centers. The last line item, which is our Marina Annex. This is an item that we still have to go over with the board, the CRA board, to improve upon what that interlocal agreement will look like. But as of right now, pending conversations with finance, our breakdown for that 2.78 million for the Marina Annex will look as such. Beginning in 2027, we're looking to go ahead and pay the $695,000 to the city. And for the rest of the 4 years, those numbers will follow.
But what is that for now?
That is for the amount that water and sewer connection fees that was approved last month, for the Marina Annex. The
Oh,
water and
okay,
sewer
okay,
connection
okay.
fees, I believe it was an amount of
Okay, yeah,
$2.78 million.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes, Vice Chair.
Director,
Sweattick.
can you just go over the HUD for Pro housing funding with Lake Worth? Can you give us an explanation?
So the HUD, the Lake Worth CRA federal grant, that was an item that was approved last year, November, December last year, by the CRA board to come in conjunction with Lake Worth to provide infrastructure work for first Lake Worth in terms of a HUD grant, which they will work on their infrastructure, and then we will then get those monies or those dollars back from HUD to create a infrastructure program for our infrastructure improvements as well. So it's a twofold program where both entities will receive dollars to address infrastructure within their CRAs.
So was this HUD program, was this grant application already approved by HUD?
This grant application was approved by HUD and is being reviewed for the disbursement of those dollars as we speak right now.
So where are we putting our portion of those dollars?
We would like to go ahead and create somewhat of a plan for those infrastructure improvements. I have some ideas, but until we are approved by HUD first for the disbursement of the dollars, then I would like to focus on what that plan would look like.
Okay.
Okay. How many more slides do you have? I'm thinking about public comment now.
Got one more slide, sir.
How much?
One more.
Oh, okay.
Next slide.
Yeah.
So this next slide, I just wanted to showcase what we've done in the city, in the CRA thus far when it comes to residential units. There's been a lot of discussions about the CRA and what we provide to the community in terms of units, in terms of what our kickback, I guess, per se, of what the city receives. So I just want to provide a breakdown of the work that we've been doing throughout this fiscal year of what our unit breakdown looks like for all of the projects that we've addressed throughout our fiscal budget. And all our line items from 1 through 6 are items that were discussed upon or touched upon within our budget, starting with the residences at Marina Village Element 8, all the way down to Element 7, 1851 Broadway Development, and the Marina Annex. We are board members, we're looking to go ahead and set across 1,143 CRA supported residential units just off of this fiscal year alone.
Chair?
Yes,
Yeah,
Vice Chair Sweattick.
Yeah, I noticed that you left off the project on the corner of Broadway and Blue Heron.
Yes.
That's a pretty large project. I would include that in here.
That is a pretty large project. We haven't went through our site plan process as of yet, so we haven't gotten a unit count.
Mhm.
I'm only dealing with projects with unit count as of right now, but I'm looking forward to adding that to the list as well.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mayor Lawson.
First, I want to just make sure this board understands the magnitude of this slide and congratulate to our director. Thank you. Because that deserves a round of applause from the city. I've seen across this country, they're struggling with housing, and to really impact and do this within this short period of time, as the direction of the board has continued to give you, and be able to just grow with this housing stock. We're going to keep building on this because the housing stock right now with the AMI at the bottom, 87 units, below 80% AMI is phenomenal because there's no affordable housing in the state of Florida. That's the conversations we've been having. That's number one.
Mayor, could you explain what the AMI is for people who are watching?
Absolutely. Or if the board wants to address that?
It's
I'm
the
sorry,
average median income.
Director, if you want to address the AMI and why that's important for the 80% AMI?
So what's important, the AMI is the average median income, and within that median income, that sets aside a certain amount of rent. That sets aside a certain amount of rent amount that a applicant can come in and provide and pay rent in a specific area. So it's important that we address, as you stated, Mayor, the affordable housing dynamic that's happening all across South Florida, and we look to match it with an AMI percentage. That AMI percentage is, I believe, phenomenal. We'll look to create more units at that certain AMI threshold, but that is something that we're doing specifically on Element 8.
Chair?
So
Yes.
if I could finish my comments.
Mayor Lawson.
Because I think my chair thinks that I work for him. So the average median income being at 80% or less in Palm Beach County is phenomenal. We've done a great job of addressing those doors. So that's commendable. And I thank my director for that, number one. Number two, the second concern and feedback is also the CRA. Hold on, I have some notes here. I want to find out some creative ways of how do we, since we don't want to prematurely sunset the CRA, we want to make sure that we benefit from the long-term impacts of TIP dollars coming from the city and the county. But I want to find some legal, defensible, permissible ways to put more CRA dollars into growth and infrastructure and Summit Blight across the entire city. So wherever we can creatively come up with those options, i.e. the programs for Reclaim Renaissance, i.e. different programs where we're sending dollars over to the city side, I want to be creative with that. The CRA will not be able to expend the amount of money that's coming in once these developments are complete. The city does not benefit on the city dollars that's coming in. So we have to come up with aggressive, creative ways. That's why the board made the decision to send $2.8 million for Marina Annex, because we have to spend these CRA dollars that's coming in a creative way that addresses housing stock, and we have infrastructure stock. So by our next meeting, I want us to come back with some creative options of how we can continue to address Park Manor, the Avenue E corridor. I want to address creative ways of how we can make sure we benefit the entire city using our CRA as opposed to sunsetting it, because we don't want to give up that $15 million annual TIF. But at the same time, we need to generate as much revenue as possible, address as much slum and blight, and keep building on this. Because this is what we need to do, and this is why we have to bring in more development, especially in our CRA. Affordable workforce mix is good, and those increase of taxes will benefit the entire city. But right now, let's be creative as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair.
Vice Chair Spiritus, then Commissioner Davis Premier.
All right, just to build on what the mayor has brought to everyone's attention with the 80% median income, I think it's important that we mention that we're doing more than that. We're taking care of everybody in this city. If you look at all of the units, we actually go from 30% to 120% AMI with the projects that we're doing. We're taking care of everybody in this city that has a need. I only wish we could do 10,000 units, but clearly we can't do that. We're already doing 1,000 units. I think we'll do a lot more in the future, but I don't think there's another community in the state of Florida that's doing what we're doing here, percentage-wise, based on the size of our community. And I'm very proud of the CRA and the CRA staff and all our partners, whether it be the CDC, it be the Housing Authority, the private developers. Thank you all for believing in our city and helping us provide these services to our community. This is just absolutely thrilling. I mean, if we don't win every award from HUD and the American Planning Association, I'll be totally surprised.
Chair.
Absolutely.
And just
Commissioner Davis
Just to
Premier.
follow up with that, I was going to say the same thing. A lot of times when I go to meetings, I talk to other commissioners, and they're just saying that, affordable housing is just hard because developers don't want to do it. So the fact that we're doing it, and to this extent, it's just commendable. And so we want to continue to show our residents that we are trying to support them, trying to make sure that there is affordable housing in Riviera Beach.
Sounds good.
Great job.
Okay, Mr. Murphy is,
So I'll round it up and I'll put a period to this. Our next presentation pertaining our budget will be August 26th. Some of the other financial items with that budget will be a discussion of our property taxes and how our property taxes will affect our CRA district, and also an opportunity to have a discussion in regards to debt financing, i.e. bonds. So looking forward to that conversation on August 26th. Thank you.
okay. Mr. Zier, I think there was one public comment card on this particular item, not the general.
Correct, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair. Public comment card for this item, budget presentation, Scott Lewis.
And Mr. Chair, as Mr. Lewis is walking up, I did have a question on what you just said. We're going to talk about the acquiring property at the next meeting and the possible bond or potential bond for that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Scott Lewis, 256 East 22nd Court. Um, I've heard quite a few times some of you talking about we need to make hard decisions on the budget to try to cut the budget. But the actual cutting the budget, I'm not hearing much of. So to me, I mean, action speaks a lot louder than words. And I remember a couple of years ago, I came here about the CRA. I was the chair and founding chair of Westgate CRA for 5 years. Our entire budget was focused on infrastructure improvements. It was very little on staff and administration. And it concerns me because I look at the city of West Palm, which is, I'm not sure the exact number, 7 to 8 times bigger than this city. And about a month ago, a couple of your employees were talking to me and saying, we can't stand how much money, this city thinks we're the city of West Palm. That was basically what they were saying. And the amount of spending, particularly on special events and promotional items. And through this budget presentation, I saw promotional items spread through 5 different slides. Infrastructure is what's going to reverse your slum and blight. And I'd love to see it focus more on that than I would on having parties, taking care of gardens, having a lot of things that make people feel good, but for the long-term investment of the city and the tax base, it's TIF, it's tax increment financing. You're not going to get that out of gardening events and special events that are promoting and travel. I talked with Palm Beach Gardens commissioner. Now it might be outdated. They can't go out of state on travel without a board vote. They can't do it. West Palm, I'm talking with them about P cards. The commissioner says, Scott, we did away with that a long time ago. It was a place where we had a lot of trouble. We got rid of it. What about staff members? Well, our commissioners, we split staff members. I'm here in West Palm doing things that this city should be doing because it's a lot poorer than West Palm, but it's not doing it. It's focusing on a lot of feel-good things. I mean, when I hear the city has 30 plus employees working for the CRA here, and it's about $17, $18 million, and I look at West Palm, that's got 75 million, and they got 10 employees. Well, wait a minute. They're focused on infrastructure improvements in West Palm. I know that because I was born there and I live there and know all of them. But this is what I want you to try to change your focus from so much entertainment and promoting everything. It'll promote itself if you all fix it. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And I'd like for accurate information to be out. How many employees do we have that work for the CRA, Mr. Mercier?
The CRA has 27 employees, 15 on our ambassador side and about 12 on our administrative side.
Okay.
For comparison, city like West Palm Beach, I'm just online, they have 13 employees.
I'm sorry?
13 employees.
Okay. The public comment cards for the general public comment section, and I have to read this. Comments from the public. Non-agenda items, speakers. Public comments shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the city council, which in that event, it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30 p.m., then the comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Please be reminded the CRA Board of Commissioners has adopted rules of decorum governing public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the front desk. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the commissioner chair may have any disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, or the building if necessary. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Okay, call the first public comment.
Margaret
speaker.
Shepard, followed by Erica Davis.
Margaret Shepherd, Riviera Beach. Mr. Guyton, I would like to have a meeting with you and the mayor and with the city manager. Mr. Spiritus also. I think it's just important that we understand one thing, that our civic duty is to come here and speak. The First Amendment gives us the right to speak. I don't think anybody have the right to come into this building and bully or terrorize anybody. Unfortunately for me, I was born up under strong Black women. And that's Miss Wade and Sylvia Lee Blue, Miss Beckham, Judy Davis, who I talked to the other day, started laughing and said, Miss Shepherd, don't mention my name, but we were all brought up together. And we are your community activists, and I only think it's a few of us left. But to come here and to threaten people, do bodily harm, is unacceptable. So I would like that meeting with you, sir, because right now it's getting ready to be a little traumatic, and it's going to involve the city, and I hope we can talk it out before it gets to another level. I am a wife and a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother, and surely I think that my children deserve to keep me here a little bit longer. Going into a nursing home, and I hope people never have to go through that. Never, ever. But I was told I had no choice. I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had to learn how to think. I have migraines, and I've been to at least 10 different doctors. The bills right now is totaling over $100,000. That's 1 week in the hospital, 2 weeks in rehab, and it does not count my medication. The question is, who do I look to help secure these bills? So I think for our protection, you have to, since you make all these rules and regulations, I want to make sure you understand, we the people deserve to be protected. And I want to say one thing. The microphones are great tonight. I mean, we could hear you. There's a little echo. I don't know how you did it, but I want to say it's perfect. Unfortunately, to a lot of us, we don't get channel 18. Something has happened to the signal again. People that are home, because I sat there and watched the 2 meetings, I think, and then I got a couple of calls because people were not getting those meetings. Now, I'm not getting the meetings. And I think as a Comcast resident, I deserve that attention. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next public speaker, please.
Erica Davis.
Erica Davis, Riviera Beach. Oh, you won't have to worry about a lawsuit because here's the police report. Close, lies. But anyway, I didn't come to talk about that. I came to talk about business. Mr. John Green told me when he was living before he left the city, he said, you know what the problem is with the city? He said, they focus more on socialism than they do capitalism. And that's why we're in the predicament that we're in. And it is true. Not one time have I heard anyone say, and Miss Dorothy Jacks last night stated that people are going to vote on the tax bill. And the money's going to get low. And I haven't heard anyone talk about promoting businesses or corporations to come in here to cover the taxes. All I hear is building the residential. We have 70-something% renters now. That's why the tax base is low. And you continue to promote renting. And you know what renting does, especially low-income renting? And I'm not trying to say that it's a bad thing, but if you see the west side over here, you'll know, understand. We have more dilapidated apartment buildings, and it looks horrible. It looks like Afghanistan or Iran right about now. And nobody's talking about how they're going to bring any businesses in here to generate revenue. That's what you need to be talking about. Because all of this residential stuff, we're in a financial crisis right now. The banks right now, he'll tell you, I mean, I know it's election time coming up, and everybody wants to say, yeah, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. And the developers, nobody's going to break ground right now. It's going to be a couple of years because I don't believe the banks are loaning money right now. So where's the tax money going to come from? This stuff is going to have an impact on you come January. All of this stuff is going to pile up on you guys. And you have the same revenue coming in. And that's what you need to be talking about. Because the condo over here, Forest Development, the Nautilus, I only see a few lights on over there. And these condos with the HOA fees and the insurance, nobody's really buying condos. So you guys got to go deep and start thinking economically and financially instead of socially about all this other stuff like Mr. Scott said. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, the next item on the agenda is 6A. Could you please read the heading?
Consideration of tenant improvement allowance for Rafiki Tiki LLC in the amount not to exceed $900,000 pursuant to section 1.10 of the lease agreement and work letter. The acceptance of public comment cards are now closed. Mr. Chair, we have one comment card.
Okay. The first thing I would like to do, Walter, would you upload that resolution, please? Scroll up to section 2. Now the other way. Wait, right there. Section 2. And I just want everybody to see what it says. The executive director is authorized to execute the lease agreement on behalf of the Riviera Beach CRA, consistent with the provisions within the attached term sheet. And the term sheet lists the allowance amount of what it goes up to. Now roll it all the way to the end for me, Walt. Right there. The executive director, the chairperson, roll it up, Walt, a little further. The attorney, and that was the vote. We have a binding agreement, and it's clearly stated that we gave him, the executive director, authorization to do it. I know there was some discussion about, and let me go back over here. And our attorney has indicated, and I wanted to reiterate that we have a binding agreement currently, do we not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And part of that binding agreement was an allowance up to a certain amount. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure what we plan to do tonight, but I would hope that we comply with what we have indicated we would do.
Mr. Chair.
Our word and reputation means a lot to me. And it's important that, when we enter into agreements, we honor them. Mayor Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And that was my point. I didn't know what the discussion of the item was and what the board was looking for. So if possible, the staff wanted to let us know what is it that they have an expectation for us moving forward.
Well, let me say this. There are invoices that we've had for at least 2 to 3 months. And our agreement says that we would advance the funds and then we would get it back on the back end.
Sure.
The improvements that are made, the tenant cannot take with them. Those are improvements. And when a developer come in and if they want to demolish this, they're going to pay everything back to us that was put in there. We take no losses. Commissioner Davis Premier.
So we'll just, I guess, follow up. That was my question, Mr. Chair. Like, what are we doing tonight? Because are we just trying to approve the invoices so that can be paid out?
That's what we're trying to do tonight.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Chair, so that was, I guess that was kind of my question too. The up to 900,000, we approve before it is spent, correct? The invoices come before us and we.
Yeah, the invoices goes to staff. Staff has hired an owner's rep familiar with construction to review each invoice to ensure that it is a valid invoice. Then it comes to us for final approval, and then they're able to be reimbursed. Okay. And I think the amount that has been submitted so far, what is the amount, Mr. Mercier?
Approximately 198,000.
Okay, no, not even close to that amount that people are alleging.
Follow up. So I just wanted to make sure that all invoices, they come before us, but
Yes.
it goes through it goes through staff first. So that we're not going to get anything that is not something that we shouldn't be approved. Okay, pre-approved. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a couple of issues here. Clearly, as I said before, I was in support of this project, and I think Dimitri does a great job, and I like his restaurant. I think it's been very good for the community. But what happened here, the resolution that we saw is not the deal that I made with him, and it's not the reason that I voted. I think $900,000 into a building that we're knocking down in a few years, and it may be after the lease, it may be before the lease. We don't know. If it's after the lease, we may not get anything. So my concern here is, were there any bids? Can you tell me, Director, did this project go out to bid, or they just got prices?
That's a question that. And we do have the tenant representative.
Here, can I get an answer from the director? I asked him whether this project went out to bid.
This project did not go out to bid. It was from the direction of the board to move forward with their lease agreement. And within the lease agreement, the allowance of not to exceed 900,000.
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, we should have had a video actually of the actual meeting, and you would have seen that the intent of the board at that meeting was clearly for you not to execute that agreement and to bring it back to us to review and authorize you to execute the agreement. That was clearly the case if you look at the actual meeting and listen to the discussion that was at that meeting. What happened in the resolution is not what was discussed. And that's pretty clear. But we're at this point already. Clearly, we have a legal issue here. I don't know if this is a legal agreement or not. I don't know if we followed proper general municipal law. I don't know whether we meet numerous requirements on the state statutes. I'm not sure of that yet, but we'll find out about that, I'm sure, in the future. This is $900,000 that we're putting into a restaurant. We could build a whole building for that. I have some concerns with this. The owner of the restaurant wanted to increase the size of the restaurant. He's been trying to do that for years and years and has been turned down by this board previously. He said that he was going to do this with his own money. He just wanted permission to expand and do this. He's going to make a lot of money. We're not even going to make back what we're going to get in rent right now is not even going to cover the cost of the rehab of this building over the term of this lease. I think it's what do you say, 199,000 a year we're getting? So it's 5-year lease, so that's $1 million, and we're giving him $900,000 to rehab the restaurant. So it doesn't make very good business sense for us what we're doing right now. We may have to do it legally, but I have to say that we made a big mistake in what we did. And I'm not saying we made a mistake in letting him expand his restaurant and run his restaurant, because I think he does a great job here. I'm not saying that I don't think he should have a place in the new marina project. As you know, I spoke in favor of him having a place in the new marina project. I don't think that you give a guarantee to somebody that they're going to have that. That's worth tens of millions of dollars, that first right of refusal. We're leaving that out of the discussion here right now. That should have gone out to bid. Giving somebody that right, I don't know if we legally have the right to do that. I think it has to go out for an RFP, quite frankly. But regardless, we're at the place that we're at right now. I want to see how we justify giving $900,000, how we justify giving this $198,000. How was it justified? I spoke to many developers, big developers, by the way, and they're building big, big buildings in West Palm Beach. You all know the buildings. I don't want to mention their names. But when I expressed to them what the situation was with us right now, you know what they said that they would give in a build out in this type of situation? Zero. Nothing. When they do projects like this and they have this type of tenant, the tenant does the build out with their own money. They give them 4 walls and a floor. And if he wants the money for the floor, which we should do, obviously, that floor should have been put in when the building was built. But it doesn't make any sense for us to be giving this money right now. They give build outs to Home Depot when they come in. They give build outs, to major restaurants when they come in. That's going to be long-term leases, major companies that are a major draw for their shopping centers or their buildings. Otherwise, they give nothing. They just give them 4 walls and they tell them to go out and get the money and build out the property themselves. But we're here right now. I understand. I just wanted to get my position on the record. I want everyone to understand how we are where we are. And now we're going to hear, I guess, from JLL is going to tell us how they justify. I don't know if JLL is, whether you're professional cost estimators, architects, engineers, or whatever, what you're basing your numbers on here, but we'll find out, I guess, real soon. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Thank you.
Chair.
Commissioner Miller Anderson, then Mayor Lawson, and let me just say, the number that is in the document is an up to number. We're not giving $900,000, just that, and that is what's been floated out there. Like we're finna, no, we're not. No, we're not, and everybody knows that. There's an up to number that we had authorized the executive director to sign, and we had a resolution that was sent to us.
Chair, I thought you said.
Wait, I have it right now.
I thought you had called me first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
Thank
Okay.
you, Chair. Do I understand this correctly that Mr. Mercius is the one that signed the contract with Mr. Rafiki?
Yes,
Mr.
we
Dimitri?
authorized him to do that.
His signing authority is up to 25,000, so how can he do that?
No. We authorized him to sign a lease with the Rafiki Tiki.
His signing authority is only up to 25,000.
No, his signing authority is up to 25 without our approval.
I've heard of the executive director doing that. I typically us.
Yeah, he does it without our approval, up to 25. Anything over that, we have to approve it. We did in the resolution.
Can you give me something in writing saying that is absolutely okay?
Yes,
Because
sir.
I don't recall that being something that the executive director does on his own. Thank you, Chair. Appreciate you.
Oh, Judas. Mayor Lawson.
Thank you. And I just wanted to address some of my colleagues. One of them made a comment, I believe it was Commissioner Spirit, who said it was a mistake. The mistake was leaving that building with dirt on the floor for 10 years. We've talked about trying to renovate this marina to generate additional revenue, yet we CO'd this building and did not have actual concrete on the floor for the last 10 years. We have someone that wants to invest into the space, and I'm not sure where anybody has seen what construction cost looks like, but to build and to invest into one of the only sit-down eateries on this side of the bridge, commissioners, we need somebody that's going to invest into it. He's taken the risk of operating in this space, operating a restaurant in this economy, and one of the only eateries when no one else will invest into them with his own time, dollars, and efforts. So it wasn't a mistake. It's a blessing to have somebody that's going to continue to push and support the city of Riviera Beach, in addition to the fact that we are going to recoup the investment. So it's not a mistake when we get the money back to the city that we've put into it. We had money. What was the mistake is Director Spiritus, are you familiar with Director Mercius, I don't know why I keep calling that. Are you familiar with the CDE? Riviera Beach CDE. Do you have an idea of how much funds are in that CDE?
I do not have the idea.
Okay. The CDE was created by our former CRA director, I believe Tony Brown, and it's a nonprofit organization that has money available for finishing renovations within the marina. It was specifically put aside to finish these renovations, and that's the money that we're using to allocate. It was actually should be about $1.2 million. So that's where we had this discussion over the last 6 years. When Board Chair Guyton made the comment that we've had this sitting vacant, we understood that we were held for a few years because of the marina solicitation that was stopping us from renovating this project. But why not invest into it, allow for the rental to come? And we know that the developer that we selected is going to take time to do this work. Having an eatery on this side of the bridge that's being invested and hopefully open before the end of the year is absolutely a win. I cannot call that a mistake. I call that an investment into the community because our rental price, if we look at the lease, has increased. We're generating more money. We're recouping the entire $900,000, and our legal team has already said clearly that we are legally defensible and compliant. So I'm going to trust my staff since they've already given me the okay to move forward. And once they provide it in writing as requested to the board, I think we need to issue these reimbursements and continue to move the city forward. We've already executed a lease. I'm not sure why we're continuing the conversation. That's why I did decide I wanted to have Mr. Spiritus have some time to actually review it some more, but the lease is executed. So if we have to issue these invoices, let's move forward with building, finishing the space, and moving on to the projects that's going to address slum and blight, as opposed to holding it hostage, because I stepped on dirt for the first 10 years of this marina, and we finally have something that's going to be built inside the marina. Not to mention, we also have the rooftop that was built facing the water that we still haven't utilized in over 10 years. So if we have somebody that's going to invest into it, why are we stopping or causing for it to be a hindrance when they're willing to build and invest the space?
Chair?
Vice Chair Spiritus.
Okay. First of all, the lease was up in November, was going to be up this November. He had come to us for an extension of this lease. We're paying for the full build-out. We're not partners in this project. We're paying for the full build-out. If we were getting 50% of the profits of the gross money that's being spent there, I'd say fine, but we're not partners. We're building out a restaurant and we're giving the entire thing to the renter to make the money. That doesn't make sense in business. There isn't any business in the world that would work that way, or any community that would give money that way. I don't care what Pompano did. I'm sure they didn't pay 100% of the build out of a restaurant for someone and said, okay, now you can go rent it and make your money and just pay us a rental fee, a small rental fee. That's unheard of in business today. Nobody does that. I just think that it was a bad deal. I think we could have done a much better deal. I mean, clearly council's telling us we have a lease. You're saying that, Chair, you're saying we're not going to go up to $900,000, but we're just beginning in this project right now, and we're getting bills for $200,000. So I think we're probably going to get to that $900,000 one way or another. It looks that way, based upon the construction and where we're going right now. I just like to hear more. I guess JLL, I guess you're cost estimators, and you have a history of doing cost estimating for these types of projects. I'd like to hear what projects you've done, especially in this area. But this is, I think that we could have done a better deal. You know, if council's telling us it's a legal deal, I'm sure we're going to find out. I'm sure we're not the only ones going to be asking these questions. It's going to be coming back to us, I'm sure. But we have to do what legal counsel tells us to do. I just say, I just want to make it clear to the public that this is not the deal that I thought it was going to be. This is totally different than what I thought it was going to be. I do support the developer, the renter, and his restaurant. I think he's doing a great job. He's been very good for the community. I support him. I will still go there no matter what, and have my meals there or whatever whenever I need to. But the point is, I just think this was a bad deal. I think we could have gotten a good deal where the tenant would still make a lot of money and do extremely well there without us subsidizing the amount of money that we're subsidizing for this project. As we've been saying all along, this money could have been used for infrastructure in the communities. That infrastructure is going to be there a long time. This restaurant is probably not going to be there a long time. So we're just putting, it's almost like when we took down Barracuda Bay for $23 million so we can go build another Barracuda Bay for another $23 million. So we paid $43 million for dirt. We're doing something similar here. We have to be very careful on how we spend the money today, especially in light of what might be happening after this next election on the homesteading law. So I'm just very concerned on where we're going to be budget-wise next year. And I think we have to be very careful about the long-term expenditures that we're doing. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Based on the fact that our counsel, legal counsel, has advised us that we do have a binding agreement, I'm going to put a motion on the floor that we do approve the invoices that JL has reviewed and given their opinion on what was valid. And that's my motion, to approve the invoices that was submitted by the tenant. Can I get a second?
Chair,
Yes.
are we going to hear from her? Or
Do you want to hear from them? You can hear from them. If
short? I would like to hear, because I think the public might want to hear too.
Good evening, staff, commissioners, chair, vice chair, mayor. My name's Danielle Flancha. I'm a senior project manager for Joan Lang LaSalle's Project Development Services Division. We are a commercial real estate advisor. We're project managers. There are several key factors that landlords offering a tenant improvement allowance should consider when they're structuring their agreement to make sure that it's beneficial. There's some financial considerations. There are also market positioning considerations. The allowance amount should align with market rates for comparable properties and reflect the length and value of the lease. Longer lease terms typically justify higher TI allowances since the landlord has more time to recoup the investment. So you calculate the allowance per the square foot and ensure that it fits within your overall return on the investment expectations. So you can offer a percentage of the amount of the private resources invested, or you can offer a fixed dollar amount or a per square foot allocation. With regard to the market positioning that you should take into consideration, competitive TI allowance can attract higher quality tenants and fill vacancies faster. Current market conditions in tenant favorable markets, consider current market conditions in tenant favorable markets. In general, generous allowances may be necessary to compete, while landlord favorable markets allow more conservative offerings. So we have incorporated a recommended TI allowance range of $70 to $100 per square foot. This is a 2,563 square foot space. This per square foot is based on current market conditions for restaurant spaces. So I want to reiterate that the market rates for restaurants can vary significantly depending on the landlord or developer's desire to accommodate a tenant and stimulate development in the community. It's not unusual for CRAs to offer above market rates to encourage economic growth in targeted areas for extended leases. These allowances can also be used as a tool to increase tax revenue following property improvements. It is worth noting that government-owned buildings are tax-free. Within that context, we believe the $70 to $100 per square foot is appropriate for this situation and lease term. To do some math for you all, $70 per square foot would be an allowance of $179,410. At $85 per square foot, you'd be looking at $217,855. At $100 per square foot, you'd be looking at $256,300. The city of Pompano, as you brought up, has awarded CRA dollars in this capacity in the past. There are a number of restaurants that I can reference. We did go ahead and take a look at their strategic improvement program. For reference, their incentive program is capped at 80% of the improvement allowance dollars that are contributed by the person doing the building. So for example, if the total project cost was $25,000, the CRA contribution would be capped at $20,000. For the city of Pompano specifically, they have a cap of $25,000 for the monies that they'll contribute, for reference. Criteria that are considered for the city of Pompano Beach specifically when they're deciding whether they issue dollars like this are the beneficial impact the completion of the proposed project will have on the property and the surrounding area, the need for the project based on the property's condition and location, the visual impact of the project on the area, possible increase in tax revenue following the improvements, the number of new jobs created as a result of the project, especially for area residents, the amount of private investment in the project, compatibility with your development plans, and the project's likelihood of completion.
Chair?
The mayor's gone, Vice Chair Spiritus.
So, thank you so much for that presentation. That was a very good presentation. You actually said everything that I said, because you came and you said that it all depends upon the term of the lease and the length of the lease in the very beginning. And that's the most important thing that you said out of everything that you said just now. This building is coming down in 3 to 5 years. So everything else is moot that you said. All those other numbers were based upon long-term leases, whether it be in Pompano or wherever else. These were projects they had that they expect to be there for the next 20 to 30 years. So they're going to recoup their money and they're building up the area. We already have close to $800 million that's going to be invested in this area. So we don't need this restaurant to bring and encourage development in the area. It's already coming. It's here. The money's invested. Not only that, we gave the tenant here the first right of refusal in this $800 million project, which is worth tens of millions of dollars. That first right of refusal on its own. So I thank you for your presentation, but you proved my point in your presentation. And I haven't seen anything. I heard $25,000 cap that one of the communities gives. If you told me $25,000, I'd say fine. If you told me $100,000, I would say fine. But when you tell me up to $900,000 and no bids, I have a problem with that, especially since the building's coming down. Like I said, I had no problem giving the tenant the extended lease. I want to see him be here and do what he wants to do and make the money. I told him when we first sat down, that's the risk he's taking, whether we're going to be here or not, and that he would try and claw back the money. I was hoping to put in the lease for the new developer to pay the tenant back. That's something that they should work out, and we could put in the lease. That's if the tenant wants him out in less than 5 years, then the tenant would get paid to go out of the lease in less than the 5 years. If it's 5 years or more, then the tenant doesn't get that money back. So that's the risk that we would have to take right now, because if it goes more than 5 years, we're not getting that money back.
Thank you very much. Mayor, you had indicated you had some comments before we vote. And, yeah, I know.
And yeah, also the public comment. The clawback was what I was going to discuss. While we have the reimbursable amount, this money is coming back to the city if the developer comes in within the next 5 years, as Commissioner Spirit has stated. And if it's outside of that, that money does not come back.
No, that's not what. He said typically that is what
Well, no,
we
what I,
go
what I
about.
heard of that, I heard Commissioner Spears just state for the record that we would not get that money back if it's not done
No,
within
he
5.
wasn't talking about us. He was
I'm
just
sorry?
talking in
Oh,
general.
no, he wasn't. He was talking very direct. So so he said we would be taking on that risk and we would not get that money back. So just to clarify the record, and if I could have staff for a second answer. This $900,000, can we claw this back at any time that we get this development going? If this marina is tore down, if they ask this vendor to move out of the space, can we claw this back from the actual developer that's currently in negotiation with the CRA?
That could be part of our negotiation. And if I could just address one point
Well,
about,
before you jump into that point, I just wanted to make sure we were clear. I just want to clarify the record. This was a great investment because we have somebody that's building a restaurant and the only sit-down eatery this side of the bridge and putting the money into it that we're going to come in partnership with. The reason it's a partnership is because they're leasing it from us and we get the investment back. So I see it as a win-win and legally we're already defensible. So I'm not sure why we're having so much of a discussion or even calling it a bad deal for the record if we're putting the money out and getting it back with having an eatery on this side of the bridge. You were going to say, Attorney Smith? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
no, well, I answered your question. I wanted to address I guess some confusion regarding the right of first refusal. It's not a definite. There's good faith negotiations that's part of it. So the restaurant does not automatically get a spot in the new arena. If you look at section 16.3, it talks about the negotiations. And if we're unable to, in good faith, negotiate a spot for them, then they're not just entitled by right under this lease to it. It requires good faith negotiations for that. So it's not an automatic for a right of first refusal.
Okay, Chair?
Okay, and at some point, we have to vote it up or down.
Chair,
too.
this is $900,000. I'd like
No,
to
it's
have the time
not.
to discuss
It's
this.
up to, you keep saying
We're
900.
spending up to $900,000.
They may not ask for 900. It's
Chair,
an
I just
up
said,
to
Chair,
amount,
I
and
just
you
said
keep
up to
saying,
900, I said
no,
up to
you keep saying it
900,000.
like it's a guaranteed
Chair, in all due
900.
respect, we just got a bill for 200,000. There's a lot
Yeah.
more work that has to be done.
No, it isn't.
Can
Have
I-
you been over there?
Yes,
No,
I
it
have.
isn't.
Can I-
It's not a lot more work left.
Chair, can I have the floor,
Yes,
please? Can I
you
ask
can.
some questions?
Okay, but
Uh,
just speak factual information.
I am factual in what I'm saying. Director Merzius, can you please tell me, do we have a written agreement yet with the developer for the marina project?
Currently, elements 0 through 6, we do not have a written agreement.
Right. So we don't even know if the developer is going to be willing to do a clawback on this, do we?
That is within the negotiations.
That's going to be
get there.
negotiated, correct? So we kind of put the cart before the horse. Don't you think we should have negotiated that first with the developer before we went and made an offer?
Yes.
I just think that we moved through this a little too quick. Like I said, I support the restaurant. I support the owner. I just think that the deal could have been differently and we didn't structure. We pushed too quick on this. That's my own personal opinion. I'm just one vote here. That's just my opinion. That we could have done a better deal that would have benefited the city, the CRA, and the tenant as well. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
But we're past that point now because the lease was executed according to our attorney. It's a legal lease. I mean, the first time we asked you, you told us it wasn't a legal lease. Now we understand that it is a legal lease. So if it's a legal lease, then I don't think we have much of a choice.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, we're ready to take a vote. I put a motion on the floor.
Public comment.
Oh, one public comment card.
Margaret Shepherd.
I think Mayor Lawson said it all. Where do we go? Where do we go to enjoy a meal, reasonable meal? And I do think that we did jump the gun a little bit. But I don't think we should continue to hold Riki Tiki hostage. Um, it's nowhere to go. Where do you take your children? Nowhere to take your children. And to have this restaurant open for friends and families and birthday parties, I just like to go and relax, have a drink, wine. I love the fish, delicious. And it's a packed house where we meet one another. This is our destination. Where else will we go? And they keep talking about it over and over and over again when you don't sit down and think things through. If I hear this one more time, I think I'm going to scream, look like every 6 months or whatever we start discussing Riki Tiki. We know it's going to go. I think we all understand it's going to go. But at this time, I think it's an investment that the city, they invest in everything else. They open up a little nutrition. Um, I've been in there and I'm telling you, I don't get it. I don't get it. But, you know, this is Riviera Beach. I suggest you stop and get it together, your wording. I just think the wording is off a little bit. And put it together where I think families can start enjoying it. We're all just going over there wondering, is it going to go? Is it going? I don't want to feel that way. I want to go take my family, my friends that come from the island. They love this place. Let us not take it away. I understand money, Mrs. Spiritus. I understand business. But at the same time, let's make sure our residents going to a safe place where we enjoy one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Was that the last public comment card?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Chair, before we vote on your motion, can I just ask a question to JLL?
absolutely.
Uh, Can you told me $70, what was the total amount of money that you had on the build out on this restaurant? What was the total number that you came up with on your square footage? What was it, $70 a square foot?
That's correct. We recommend
That's
between
pretty high.
$70 to $100 per square foot.
Yeah, so what'd you come out with for the total square footage here? Because I don't have the square footage.
2,563 square feet. So at $70 per square foot, it would be 179,000 roughly. At $85 a square foot, it would be 217,000 roughly. And at $100 a square foot, it'd be 256,000 roughly.
So you're saying so you're saying under $200,000 is what this build out should be?
We had,
That's your professional estimate. That's $70 a square foot, correct?
that's correct.
So I don't know why we're saying up to 900,000. I would support up to $200,000, Chair, if your motion were changed to that.
We have a binding agreement, Vice Chair, and I'm willing to honor that. I'm not sure why we're going through these antics. We have a binding
Our
agreement.
binding agreement says up to, and
but-
how,
but-
so,
but we
okay.
can't change it
Okay,
unilaterally.
so Chair, so let me ask the director, how are you verifying these costs?
I can answer that.
We'll go. Yes.
So there is specifically a disbursement process that we follow. So the tenant shall submit to landlord when requesting payment using standard AIA forms, the G702 and G703 or equivalent. It has to be accompanied by invoices from contractors and vendors for completed work. So that's the backup that we review. It should be accompanied by conditional lien waivers from all contractors, subcontractors, material suppliers for the current payment request. So that's them agreeing that conditional upon them getting paid, they'll.
I understand standard AIA documents, I use them all the time. My question is, how are you verifying the actual cost that they're giving you? They say air conditioning is $300,000. Well, did you go and check out what that air conditioning bill was and get estimates in the area and find out whether these are actual costs or
So
or is it just a bill that's being put on the AAA document?
to finish
Yeah,
the thought, to finish my thought, we'll review unconditional lien waivers for all prior payments, evidence that all work complies with the approved plans, and then any other documentation reasonably required by the landlord. So the first stipulation is invoices from contractors and subcontractors, material suppliers, and current payment requests. So we take a look at the invoices from the material supplier and check all that back up. We're also going to make sure that that aligns with market standards. So that's what I do in my day-to-day, is I look at these invoices, we look at these amounts, and we know what generally this stuff costs. So yes, that's what you all are paying us to do.
So what percentage of the work is done right now? You don't have that answer? You're the one who's doing the project.
We have not been, no.
They're asking us to approve $200,000. You should know what percentage of the work is done that you're asking us to
We have
approve.
not, so part of the approval process is going to be to walk with the architect. And so that approval is not prepared as yet. So we need to complete that approval process so we can send our approval to Mr. Merzius.
So we don't know whether this $200,000, it hasn't been approved yet by your team. You haven't signed off on it.
We haven't sent the approval yet.
Okay, so then we should not be voting on this, quite frankly, until our expert that we're paying here tells us that that's a legitimate price and that we should approve this.
So the process is going to be, we're going to submit our approval and then it comes back to you all for you to vote. So
I just think we should make it clear that when we do AIA documents on most projects, whether it be private or public, that project usually goes out to bid before those numbers are put in on those AIA documents. Those numbers come in after a bidding process, after a competition. They're not just put in as you go along on the project, that all of a sudden, this is the amount of money for this and this is the amount of money for that. You don't do that in standard AIA documents. You have all the numbers already prepared when you start the project for the total cost of the project, and you have an itemization and you have a percentage of what you're going to pay, and you usually have your retainage and everything else on that AIA document. This is not really the standard procedure in how you would do a project, but as the chair said, we have a contract. So I don't see how we can get out of that contract at this point.
To interject, we have suggested and recommended to the city and Mr. Merzius, we have suggested to the city that we revert to the AIA documents because you're correct. They do show the total and they show what the breakdown is and what percentage the work of the work is completed. At this time, that's not how the invoices have been sent. So we have recommended that you all follow this standard process. What we are here in an impartial capacity. We are not taking anyone's opinion, anyone's side. So we can advise on what's typically done, what the standard process is, what's recommended to reduce risk. So our recommendation is that they do provide the AIA contract, understanding that they are trying to get this build out completed, and we want to help, stimulate growth. We want to have this restaurant completed in a timely fashion. We can get those invoices approved via a site walk where we make sure that what's there is what they're billing for, and we can piece it together to get this first round of invoices approved, and then for the next round, follow that standard process.
I understand that. What I'm trying to get at is, you said $70 a square foot. I'll buy that number. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if that's the real number right now or not, but I trust that you do this for a living and that's the real number right now in this area. So you're saying $200,000 would be the total build out based on square footage and based on your numbers.
That number is a recommended tenant improvement allowance
Tenant
figure.
improvement allowance,
Yeah,
exactly.
Not a budget for the project.
Right. And that would be 200,000, but we're saying up to 900,000. So I don't know what we're basing that 900,000 on. What are the rules? What are the guidelines that we're using right now? Or do we have a professional cost estimator looking at the air conditioning number or the plumbing number, whatever else, looking at those plans, telling us this is the real number? We've done the cost estimating and this is a real number. not just what the tenant gives us and sticks on a standard AIA form and then he says, here's the bill. For all we know, we're paying double what we should be paying for air conditioning. And once again, we would not, your own consultant is telling you that you don't pay 100% of the bill value. You pay $70 a square foot. Is
Okay,
what we
can
should be
we-
paying, which is
we-
200,000.
let's-
So I'm just trying to get
Yeah.
to the point, Chair, is you're asking us to pay bills. I'm trying to decide, how did we come up with that bill? Should we be paying for this bill? Is this the right amount of money?
If you don't
Based on
have
the
adequate
contract.
information, you just vote it down. I mean, we need to vote it up or down. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Um,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller Anderson. That's,
You
I
know-
mean, if, we need to just vote it
I'm-
up or down.
I thought you
We
gave me
get-
the floor.
with the co- oh, go
Thank
ahead,
you,
Ms. Miller.
appreciate you. So I'm just thinking here, there was no procurement process done, right? Yes or no? From whoever.
No.
But yet we're the ones that will be reimbursing or providing the funding for this work that's being done. Yes?
Through that allowance, yes.
To me, it just really sounds like, how are we providing this money? We don't have any say as to who's doing the work or how the work is being done, but yet we're the one that's paying for it ultimately. Why wouldn't we need to do some sort of bidding process?
Well, for an example, we use our business grants for that same thing, where we provide businesses with an opportunity for their build out through our grant process. I will say that the order that should have happened with Rafiki Tiki was specifically they were to submit a work commencement letter. And with that work commencement letter, we would have an idea of what that proposed work would look like to justify specifically what should have been done within that space.
But why wasn't that done? It wasn't clear that it needed to be done? Was it told to him it needed to be done?
Absolutely.
And we continue to let him do the work even though, or we're still talking about reimbursing or providing this funding even though he didn't do what we need him to do? Okay, your look tells me everything I need to know. I don't, listen, it's not about voting it up or down. It is about
That's what
doing
it's
it
about.
correctly, knowing there is a process. And if we're just gonna jump and say we're just gonna give this money, we need to stop and think what's going on here. No one has any issue with the restaurant itself or the person who owns it, but the process sounds very messed up right now. And then, Miss, I can't think of your name from JLL, but you kind of said something like, we're just kind of piecing it together. Those were your exact words, and I'm not understanding why we're trying to piece something together and not following correct processes and ensuring that it's followed. And you said too that you don't want to kind of take sides, but yeah, you need to take our side because you're representing us. So we want to make sure that everything is being done properly, and it just don't sound like that's what's happening here.
Okay,
And also, not knowing, and I agree with Dr. Spiritus in terms of knowing if an AC really costs the amount of money that is listed on there. That's something even on the city side, I've preached that for years. I mean, how do you know that that board should cost, if they say it costs $50, what are you comparing it to know that it really does cost $50? Are we just going off of what they're saying? Or do we have something to compare it to? And to me, it just sounds like we're kind of just doing whatever right now. And I don't understand what the rush is to hurry up and just give this money instead of trying to make sure everything is done properly. We can always vote yes or no on stuff, but what are we really doing? Do we want to have a true understanding as to what's happening, or do we want to just vote on something? It makes no sense. We need to have clear understanding as to what is going on and what these processes are, because I don't understand why we're just so gung-ho just give this money and not knowing for sure if we have done things properly. So that's something that now data documents and evidence, I know that's something that you want to make sure is in order. And it doesn't sound like this is in order. It really doesn't.
To be clear, we know how much things cost because we do this every day. So we're aware, how I do want to agree with you that my recommendation was for us to take this and follow the standard procedure.
So why didn't it happen?
Well, nothing is done yet. We've actually sent our recommendation saying that we need to follow this procedure, and we haven't sent an approval yet because we're awaiting.
Why are we trying to vote on something and they haven't even approved it yet?
Chair.
Huh?
She would like to speak. Are you done?
I mean, I know you want me to be done.
No.
But my question is there a reason why it hasn't happened the way you recommend it to happen? Who's causing it to not go the way you need it to go?
As you stated, we work for you all, so
right.
We would like to.
Mr. Chair,
I'm
let her
going
speak,
to answer
please.
your question.
How you going to answer the question?
Because you asked how I got here. I asked for it to be on the agenda. That's how it came before us.
But did you know that things weren't going in order, or you were under the assumption everything has been going fine?
I asked for it to be on the agenda.
Regardless of how it's being done.
I didn't say that.
Were you aware that it hasn't followed the process?
I asked for it to be on the agenda. That's how I got here.
Was there a reason why?
Yes, because the tenant is spending a lot of money.
Well, he needs to slow down then and make sure that these processes are followed the right way. That's on him if he's spending the money and not following it the right way. I mean, we got to worry about the city and the CRA.
I always worry about the city. We had a resolution before us. Everybody had a resolution, whether we was going to enter into this agreement or not. Everybody got a copy. We voted, it became binding, and it's time to execute. That's all I'm saying. We have a binding agreement that we voted on. We voted on it. It came before us.
I understand that.
No, wait, slow down.
No,
we could have asked all these questions at that time.
Well, I voted no, so
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, it was a term sheet attached to the resolution that we also voted on that had all of this information on it, everything that we're talking about.
But the process, though, that doesn't change. That has nothing to do with the way it's rolling out now. Yes, it has already been voted on for it to happen, but there's a process in which it needs to operate, and it's not happening.
I understand that, but all I'm saying, everybody's made their point. Just vote it up and down. We don't have to keep reiterating your concern.
But it seems like more new information is coming out as we're
No,
having
the
these
same
discussions.
information is here, and everybody's repeating themselves now.
No, we're getting new information.
Yeah, I mean, you expressed some concern, and they're valid. Just vote up and down. We can't just discuss it all night. No, I'm not doing that.
That's what you do all the time.
No,
What are you talking about?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. We got a process, like you said. Just vote it down, and then we'll have to deal with it. Vote it up
same
and down.
energy when you own your tangent.
Vote it up and down. Okay.
Okay. So that was my question, because this is supposed to be just a discussion, right? So we don't necessarily. Well, where's the information that says we were voting on invoices? I don't see that in here. This was supposed to be a discussion.
It is in there.
That would give them more time.
Okay, but it's in there about the amount.
I get it, but I'm saying I don't see on here where the staff was seeking for us to vote on the invoices, and that gives us time to do the procedure correctly.
Okay.
Because I'm in support, but I also remember, because you all keep bringing up the past, but I also remember when me and Mr. Spiritus said he had met with the owner to negotiate a lower up to amount, and everybody was so, well, no, we're going to go again. We're going to go again. Okay. Okay. So I'm about procedures as well. So.
Okay. All righty.
That sounds good.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mayor. Please, Mayor, come on. We have to vote.
Understand, the problem is
Everybody saying
and
the
I,
same
and I
thing.
understand, Mr. Chair, but here's the thing. We led with at the beginning, there was unreadiness. If there's unreadiness, now this looks like there's incompetence, issues, and problems when there's obviously some holes that haven't been addressed. And the board decided to move forward with this as the pleasure of the board. We're having the discussion now, so if there's still unreadiness, I don't want to rush the vote. I want to make sure everybody has had all their concerns addressed so that we can get to the proper decision and move forward, because these are the taxpayers' dollars. So I don't want to rush through it and just get to the vote. I think that there are new concerns and issues that have come up with the discussion that happened here, but ultimately, my question was always from the beginning, is this legally defensible? Do we have an executed contract? And what was the process and procedure? The reimbursable amount, I think there was some confusion in regards to what the cost of the build out would be and what the reimbursable amount is allowed in other municipalities, areas, and investments. So the cost of the actual restaurant, which I understand in development, is not $70 a square foot. You can't build a restaurant space for $70 a square foot. That's what some places have reimbursed. So just to clarify the record, there's a lot of confusion, and I prefer to have these in agenda reviews and have these discussions so a lot of these questions can be answered. But with this, where we're at right now, we've answered the question. That contract was executed, it is legally defensible, and the cost will be reimbursed to the city at any given time. So wherever there is, or whatever the process is, if this decision does move forward and whatever the vote is, I do want to have a discussion with staff as to what that looks like after the decision and the vote has been made, if all the concerns of the board have been met.
Okay.
Chair,
I
call the vote.
did have a motion, but I did not get a second on it. So there is no motion on the floor right now. You can have a seat, not there.
I want to add, just to be clear, that the staff has been very clear that they want us to move quickly to get that approval. And we can see that $200,000 worth of work has been completed at this time. We haven't sent the formal email saying it's approved because we recommended that this airtight package of backup be provided. That's standard process, but anybody who knows construction can see that it's done. It's ready for approval. We have not sent that email just yet. I don't want to give the impression that they're not handling things quickly or well.
Chair, can we
Thank
move
you.
on?
Huh?
Can we move on?
Oh, now you want to move
Now I
on?
want to move on. There's no second, let's go on.
Okay. Okay, there was a motion on the floor. I did not get a second. Did I get a second? I did not get a second. So it dies for lack of a second. But it should be brought back as quickly as possible. Shouldn't take long on the next meeting.
Well, Mr. Chair, that was the question. Like I said, after we took a vote or didn't, I wanted to hear from staff as to what does that look like. Because you're saying brought back as quickly as possible. What is there to be
New
brought back?
information.
What are we bringing back?
She's just gonna give their official approval for the amount and it comes back.
Okay.
There's more concerns than just
Yeah,
getting their official
that's not the
approval.
only concern that I heard tonight. I heard a lot of concerns, and I think we need to give staff clear direction, because if it didn't get approval, what are we doing?
No, what we can't do is change the terms of the agreement. We can't do that. We're in the binding agreement, and that's what I think
And
some
nobody
want.
can
We're gonna
make
work
this
within
board.
the-
So,
we're
Mr.
gonna
Chair,
work
nobody
within
can
the
make this
agreement.
board
Okay.
vote for any item to reimburse anything. So if this board chooses not to actually issue this invoice, just like all these invoices, they could have pulled every invoice on here and not paid any of our staff, attorneys, or legal staff. So that can be done, that pleasure. It doesn't matter if we have an executed contract. What is the next step? What are we expecting staff to do, and what will actually address this concern moving forward, Mr. Chair? So I don't want us just to say, bring it back, when obviously there's unreadiness.
Well, we should give staff direction. We shouldn't be asking staff.
I'm not asking staff, I'm asking y'all, what are we
Okay.
doing?
Well, the ones with the concerns, let's hear
I don't have any concerns. I'm telling the board that they need to
them.
give
No,
the
I'm not
staff
talking
direction.
to you, Mayor.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
just talking to those who had concern. What do you want staff to do? What do you want staff to do? We beat this issue up over an hour. Okay, yes, Vice Chair Spirit.
Okay, so, Director Mercius, I would like you and staff to sit down and figure out that up to $900,000, what are we basing that on? Are we basing it on a percentage? Are we basing it on what the normal standards are for developer build-outs in this area, as JLL told us? What are we basing on? That was just a very vague number in there. There was no discussion on how we get to that number. And that's what we have to do. We have to figure out, we have to sit down with the tenant and your staff and figure out how to get to that number. What is fair for the community and what is fair for him? What is normal practice in the industry? And that's, we don't want to do something that's very unusual. We want to do what's fair. And I think that we can come up with something within the next month that would be fair to both sides and that we can move forward with this project. Like I said, I support giving the extension
Okay.
to the.
Did you have any other direction to him?
That's all I'm
Okay.
looking for right now.
And let me,
And
And
that we
I
follow-
also like the
Sure.
attorney to look into the procurement requirements in the state. What we required to put this out to bid if we're using money, are we required to have the person that we're giving it to meet certain procurement requirements under CRA regulations or under state statutes? I'd like to know if there's anything out there that maybe we didn't do that we should have done.
okay. Anybody else?
And just for us to follow the recommended processes that JLL has spoken about. Okay, just to make sure that yes, because we do understand that we're in a binding contract. We're moving forward. We just want to make sure that we have everything in line.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yeah.
A question regarding the direction. Dr. Spears, you mentioned procurement requirements. Are you looking to get direction? Will we require for procurement requirements for the lease or for the
Both. Were we required
Okay.
to put out an RFP for the extension of the lease?
okay.
The lease ended in November, so did we have to put out a new RFP for the lease, or did we have the authority? Did that lease have an option to renew in it? I don't know, the previous lease. I don't know what it had in it. The original lease, so I hadn't seen the original lease. So I don't know what was in there. So I would like you to look to see whether we followed all of the proper statutes and rules and regulations and laws regarding the extension of the lease. And then, of course, the procurement requirements under state law, and make sure that we followed all of the procurement requirements that we would have to do.
Okay, got it? Okay. Any further comments? This issue is done tonight. Staff, you have your instructions. So whatever the commissioners have asked for, certainly go and do it. But one thing we cannot do is change the terms of the lease unilaterally. We can't go and tell them that, we're not crazy about that 900,000 now. So, we can't do that unilaterally.
Well, but can you clarify, if the invoice comes before us, it has to get revoted?
Huh?
But if the invoice
If
comes.
the invoice comes before
It has
us,
to get revoted.
and yes, and JL has said that they've done their background, and we deny it,
What, that's what I want to know.
yeah, they can go to court and get paid because they have a binding agreement.
Right, but
Yes.
that $900,000 was very vague in how you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
to that
yeah.
900,000.
But I'm asking a
That's what
question.
we're trying,
That's
that's what we're
because
trying to get
we
to.
deny it, they can still go get paid. But I would hope that we don't carry these people through that. Okay,
I agree.
we have beat that one to death. Y'all know I don't like these long conversations about the, but I mean, let me say this, there were valid points brought out, and I think they were very important and critical, and certainly I like to go to the meat of the issue, and sometimes we, including me, get repetitive. We start saying the same thing that we just said before. That's all I was talking about, the repetitiveness. Okay, the last issue, would you read it for us, please?
Item 6B under discussion, consideration of legal fees for commissioner.
I'm sorry.
Consideration of legal fees for
Yes,
commissioner.
and Commissioner Lanier sent a letter in to read into the record. Do you have that letter? Would someone read it into the record, please?
Okay, so I'll read the item into record. This is to Chairperson Bruce Guyton, CRA Board of Commissioners, member of the CRA Board of Commissioners, Executive Director Jadel Merzius, Riviera Beach CRA Attorney Chris Smith. From Shirley Lanier, urgent request for CRA Board authorization, advancement of legal fees for federal subpoena related to CRA projects. Executive action required. This is an urgent issue the advancement of legal fees for Commissioner Lanier to respond to a federal subpoena related to CRA projects and activities. Response deadline has passed. Attorney is on hold due to lack of payment. No defense has been mounted. The CRA is a separate independent legal entity with the power to employ counsel and pay necessary expenses of its commissioners under Florida law and its own bylaws. The requested action, is to authorize the executive director to pay Commissioner Lanier's attorney invoices directly from CRA funds under the CRA's independent authority. Dear chairpersons, members of the board, and executive director, I am writing to you in my capacity as a commissioner of the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. I am urgently requesting that the CRA board authorize the immediate advancement of responsible attorney fees and costs to respond to a federal subpoena. The FBI investigation specifically targets CRA projects. The subpoena I received on February 24, 2026 concerns conduct arising directly from CRA activities and projects. The City Council refused to act. My motion died for a lack of a second. But the CRA is a separate independent legal entity with its own authority to act, and I am asking you to exercise that authority now. The CRA is an independent legal entity with its own authority. The Riviera Beach CRA is not merely a committee of the City Council under Florida law and the CRA's own bylaws. The CRA is a legal entity separate, distinct, and independent from the City Commission. The CRA's powers are exercised by its own Board of Commissioners, the same 5 members who sit on the City Council but act in a separate capacity. The CRA may employ or retain its own counsel and legal staff for such legal services as it requires. A commissioner is entitled to necessary expenses incurred in the discharge of duties. The City Council's refusal to act does not bind the CRA. The CRA has independent authority to pay necessary legal expenses of its commissioners when those expenses arise from CRA-related matters. The FBI probe is directly related to CRA projects. The federal subpoena I received on February 24, 2026 concerns conduct undertaking in my official capacity involving CRA projects and activities. The investigation targets CRA redevelopment projects, CRA expenditures and decisions, CRA-related activities and programs. I am a CRA commissioner. The matters under investigations arose directly from my duties on this board. The CRA has a direct and substantial interest in defending its commissioners against unfounded federal scrutiny that could disrupt its operations and tarnish its reputation. The CRA has the power to pay these expenses. Florida Statute 163.356 3A provides that a commissioner shall receive no compensation for services, but is entitled to the necessary expenses, including travel expenses incurred in the discharge of duties. Legal defense costs arising from a federal investigation into CRA projects are necessary expenses incurred in the discharge of duties. The statute does not limit expense to travel or administrative costs. It broadly covers necessary expenses. Seeing how much more I got left. The CRA may employ its own counsel. Florida Statute 163.
How many pages is that?
6. I'm on page 3.
Wait, I thought you had like a 1-page, 2-page letter.
Sorry.
Okay, keep going. You're halfway there now.
Okay, sure.
You have.
Can't read half into the record.
Okay. For such legal services as it requires, the agency may employ or retain its own counsel and legal staff. The CRA has the authority to retain counsel to defend its commissioners. Paying my attorney's invoices is a logical extension of this authority. Defending the CRA's commissioners is defending the CRA itself. The CRA's bylaws confirm this authority. The CRA bylaws, Article 1, Section 5, provide that the CRA shall have such powers provided by law, including but not limited to Part 3 of C.163 Florida statutes. Article 2, Section 3 provides that the agency may engage general counsel and may delegate to such counsel and advisor such authority and responsibilities as the agency deems necessary or desirable to provide the legal and financial services for the agency. The CRA has the power to authorize expenditures. The bylaws, Article 2, Section 6G, authorize the executive director to authorize the expenditure of agency funds in an amount not to exceed $25,000, provided that such funds are used solely by the agency or its officers, employees, agents, representatives, consultants, experts, and specialists to carry out the agency's objectives and are authorized by the agency's budget. The board can authorize expenditures above this amount by resolution as CRAs routinely do to fund legal services. 4, the common law requires law advancement, not reimbursement. Florida courts have long recognized that public officials are entitled to legal representation at public expense for matters arising from the performance of their official duties while serving a public purpose. The Florida Supreme Court in Thornborough versus City of Fort Walton Beach, 568, 2D 91 Florida, 1990, established that public officials are entitled to legal representation at public expense. This entitlement arises independent of statute, ordinance, or charter. The purpose is to avoid the chilling effect that a denial of representation would have on public officials. In Lamello versus the City of Sunrise, the court held that the municipal corporation or other public body is obligated to furnish or pay fees for counsel to defend a public official subject to attack either in civil or criminal proceedings where the conduct complained of arises out of or in connection with the performance of his official duties. The court explicitly states that this obligation is not subject to the discretion of the keepers of the city coffers. Reimbursement is not legally sufficient. The law requires advancement payment of fees as they are incurred, not after the official has paid out of pocket. An official without independent means cannot retain counsel and therefore cannot defend regardless of the strength of her ultimate claim to reimbursement. The Florida Supreme Court did not recognize a hollow right. 5, why the CRA must act now. The City Council refused to act, the CRA must step in. My motion before the City Council died for a lack of a second. The same 5 members who sit on this board refused to authorize payment in their capacity as the City Council. But this board is not the City Council. The CRA is a separate legal entity with its own duties and obligations. When the City Council failed to act, it did not relieve the CRA of its independent obligation to defend its commissioners. The deadline has passed. We are out of time. February 24th, this is a timeline of events. February 24th, 2026, a subpoena was received. April 1st, 2026, response deadline passed. Current date, the grand jury continues its work without my input. My attorney, Jeff Solomon, former United States attorney, is holding off because I cannot pay. I have no money to pay out of pocket and wait for reimbursement. The CRA has a direct interest in this matter. The FBI is investigating CRA projects. If I am unable to mount a defense, the grand jury hears only the government's one-sided narrative. An indictment becomes more likely. The CRA's reputation and operations are damaged. Every CRA project under investigation becomes tainted by association. This board and every member of it is next. 6, the insurance opportunity. the city's errors and omissions liability insurance policy. Provides coverage for defense costs under coverage section 4. The policy has 1.65 million per claim in excess coverage, 3.3 million annual aggregate coverage for wrongful acts arising from official duties, a 350,000 self-insured retention that must be satisfied before excess coverage applies. By advancing in my defense cost, the CRA erodes the SIR acronym for self-insured retention and unlocks millions in insurance coverage. Failing to act leaves that coverage unused and leaves me defenseless, excuse me. What I am asking the CRA board to do, I am asking this board to exercise its independent authority and authorize the executive director to pay legal fees for all commissioners. Proposed motion. I move that the CRA board authorize the executive director to pay the reasonable attorney fees and costs of Commissioner Shirley Lanier as invoiced by Jeff Slauman in connection with the federal subpoena and investigation concerning CRA projects from available CRA funds, subject to a recoupment condition that if a final judicial determination finds the conduct was outside the scope of Commissioner Lanier's official duties or was undertaken for private gain, the amount advanced shall be repaid to the CRA. Conclusion. The city council failed to act, the CRA must not. I am innocent. I have served the city and the CRA with integrity. The FBI is targeting CRA projects and I am caught in their net. I need a defense to prove my innocence, to stop this fishing expedition, and to protect the board from my further scrutiny. The CRA has the power to act. The CRA has the duty to act, and the CRA must act now. I respectfully request that this matter be placed on the next available CRA board agenda and the board authorize the immediate advancement of my reasonable attorney fees and costs. If this can happen to me, it can happen to any of you. Stand with me, protect this board, vote yes. Respectfully submitted, Commissioner Shirley Lanier.
Commissioner Lanier, are you still on? Commissioner Lanier?
Mr. Chair, Walter Stevens confirmed she wasn't on the call.
She what?
She's not on the call.
She's not on the call?
No,
She was on earlier, right?
earlier, but she dropped out.
Okay. Board, what would you like to do? I'll put a motion on the floor for discussion. It dies for lack of a second. Closing comments, please. The executive director.
Closing comments, we do have a number of events coming up within our CRA. One thing that has moved, we have started advertising for our mobility meeting, which was scheduled for the 20th, next Thursday, August 20th. That move is now changed because from what we understand, the city commission has another workshop for their budget. So we will look to provide another date for that mobility plan meeting, but the intent of the mobility plan meeting is to move us forward with our mobility plan discussions with hopes of a pilot trolley program. Our next meeting will be August 26th, where we'll emphasize the changes that have been made for our budget, along with having a conversation of our property taxes and also additional opportunities for financing for infrastructure projects and such. Additionally, we will also move forward with accommodating, nope, never mind. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Council.
None, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Miller Anderson.
I have nothing.
Are you talked out now? Vice Chair.
I would just like to say thank you to the CRA staff for doing a great job. We all appreciate everything you do. I know how hard it is, and results you can see clearly. All we have to do is drive down the street and we can see the results. So thank you for everything you do.
Commissioner, thank you for the comments. Commissioner Davis Bernier.
Thank you. Nope.
Mayor Lawson.
Thank you. It's early voting. Please, residents, make sure you get out and vote. Election day is on Tuesday, so please, we have a lot of names on this ballot that impact the decisions of this board. So please get out and vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Meeting adjourned. Whew.